Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Once again, I am trying to beat this game. Let's go! Ricardo, hello, thank you so much for joining me. Oh, we're gonna attempt this again. So, you know what? I looked up this game and tried to look up how to save, and I couldn't find anything. Like, I don't know if we're meant to save. Like, there's just not a lot of information on this game. I feel like, a lot of people just didn't play it. So I'm going to try to just play it without saving. I did read somewhere that you can save by pressing Y, I think, but I don't know if that's true. And then otherwise, I just like couldn't find any information on how to save. Oh wait, there's controls here. Menu. There's a menu? Can I save in the menu? I should have read this before, probably, right? So, okay, Y. You know what? I'm gonna try that. Alright, well, I know I read all this yesterday, but I mean, nobody's gonna remember what this said, so I guess I'll just read it all again. I got my water. Got my water so I can hydrate. Oh, I don't even think I put it up to the camera. Okay, I got my water so I can hydrate, and I will just read everything out loud again. Why didn't we notice that before? Oh boy. Yes, thank you for that, Ricardo. Why didn't we notice that before? The old lady's tip-off was right on the money. The counterspell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadorned braid flicked back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the manor's magic shields, moving in closer and closer to Lord Lynx's stronghold. There were 3 of us, Kid, Magil, and me. I guess it must have been 3 years already since I first met Kid. Back then, I was just a wandering musician, traveling wherever my feet would take me, and wherever a few tunes would pay for an extra... wherever a few tunes would pay for a warm bed. Okay, and then, you know what? I did realize last night after stream, I did realize, Ricardo, after you told me that this game was actually the inspiration for Chrono Cross, because I had all these questions about, like, Surge and Kid, right? And Lynx, and like Riddle being Lynx's adopted daughter. Because I was like, wait, what? Riddle is Viper's daughter, and then here it says Surge was a musician that had known Kid for 3 years, and I was like, what? That's not correct. That's why at first I thought it wasn't Surge, but then after stream I realized, like, oh, they changed some stuff because, you know, this was just like the inspiration for Chrono Cross. It wasn't like a direct correlation. I was in the Outlands, in a town called Regiora, where we first ran across one another, and since then she dragged me along on a whole bunch of adventures, and misadventures too. This is one of them. A Kid. She was a thief, and not just any thief, just a few months shy of 17 and already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was achingly beautiful, stylish, a joy to be around, and a dab hand at campsite cooking, or so she liked to claim. The truth was a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you've heard about in stories? The ones who steal from the rich and to give to the poor? Yeah, that wasn't Kid style. Oh, you know those nice thieves? Like the Robin Hoods of the world? Yeah, that's not Kid. She was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, and obsessed with money, and rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. So you first thought they were retconning super hard. Yeah, I did. Or, I was just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm sure they'll explain it all at the end because that's what Chrono games do. They're, like, extremely confusing. And then it all gets explained at the end. Except Chrono Cross was, I think, way more confusing than Chrono Trigger. Like, I mean, it's been a really long time since I played Chrono Trigger, but I don't remember Chrono Trigger being as confusing as Chrono Cross, because I had to look up Chrono Cross after I beat it. I had to look up, like story explanations and stuff. And Ricardo, I think you were the one that told me about that video on YouTube that explained the whole Chrono Cross story. So I went and watched that. I'm still a little confused, but I understand a lot more now, but I'm still a little bit confused. But she wasn't all bad. Probably, maybe, sometimes. She had her moments anyway. I glanced over my shoulder to see a shadow hovering behind us, blending into the darkness like smoke. Magil, also known as Magil the Shade. He was Kid's partner, but even after 3 years, I still knew hardly anything about him. All I knew was that he was about 30 years old and not much of a talker. Around 30 years old and not much of a talker, but he was one heck of a mage. I heard that he and Kid had started working together way before I met her. He always covered the top half of his face with a mask, and I'd never seen what he looked like underneath. He was a man so mysterious that it sometimes seemed like he was an interloper from another world. It wasn't like Kid was exactly big on details about her past, but Magil, he might as well not have had one. And Kid didn't seem to know much about her partner in crime either. What kind of man he was, what kind of life he'd lived before, nothing. You might ask exactly how I wound up being part of this merry band. Well, it's complicated. A mage named Magil, suspicious. That was very sus. I think it's Magus. Because, I mean, so if you look... Okay, oh, I don't know if you can really see it from the chat overlay, but this guy down closest to the bottom of the screen, that looks just like Magus. And his name is Magil, and Serge said that it seemed like he came from another world. Yeah, you can, I mean, I made the chat overlay translucent on purpose so you could still, like, kind of see through it. I have to remove that. I forgot to do that last night. But yeah, I mean, that looks exactly like Magus. Kid, who was heading up our little raiding party, suddenly stopped dead. Look lively, boys. We've got company. We glanced around warily as cold, cruel eyes emerged from the darkness. Okay, so this is the wildcat fight. And last time, I tried to, like, defend and dodge. I tried to, like, play defensively, and that didn't really work. So this time, I'm going to attack. I heard a low growl. Dark shadows prowled through the night surrounding us. Okay, wait. Before we move on, I'm gonna press Y. I could have saved the whole time! Where's Aaron? Is Aaron in here? Aaron, if you're out there, I found out how to save. Oh my god. I hate my life. Wanna rant for a while? Oh boy, do I. I don't know if that would make for a very good stream, though. Oh. Oh! Oh! Ugh. I could have saved the whole time. There was a menu. There was a menu button. Oh my god. And 3 save spots. I could have saved 3 times. Oh. Oh, my heart. Like, that hurts my heart. Okay. You know what? Okay. We're fine. We did it for the content. We did it for the content. Well, at least this means we have another Rebecca stream. That's true, but you know what, Ricardo? You're always gonna have another Rebecca stream. Whether you like it or not, Rebecca will always have streams. A pack of wildcats! There must have been about 10 of them. A thrill of fear ran down my spine. You know what? Should I clip that? I'm gonna clip my reaction to finding out you could have saved. Oh boy. You know, the content that does best for me is the content where people just, like, get to laugh at me. So, what does that say about you guys, you know, that you like the content where you laugh at me? Flustered, I pulled my knife from my belt. Kid calmly shifted into a fighting stance. Watch yourselves, I don't reckon these buggers been treated for rabies. The wildcat snarled and growled as they slowly closed in on us, drawing the noose tighter and tighter. Their eyes glinted in the darkness like fireflies, and strings of eager spittle dripped wetly to the ground. Then one of them sent an almighty roar soaring to the moon, and the hunt was on! What was I going to do? I attacked. I slashed at a nearby wildcat with my knife, and then, I do remember from last night, I attacked the second time because I tried to defend myself the first time, and that didn't work. So the second time, a wildcat attacked, I was like, okay, I'm gonna attack back, and then that worked. So I think in this situation, the attacks work better. The beast tried to leap clear, but I was already too close. I felt the blade make contact and was rewarded with a screech of pain. The wildcat jumped away, this time managing to put some space between us. It looked like I hadn't cut it very deeply. I stood my ground, changing my grip on the knife and waiting for another chance to attack. Surge, behind you! Panicked by Kid's warning, I whirled wildly around and came face to face with a pair of eyes blazing like hellfire. I attacked! A wildcat was coming right at me. It's 1-1 after first period, but MSG with Rangers is rocking, Rebecca. Oh, nice. Cool. Exciting game so far. By reflex, I ducked, its attack swiping through the air directly over my head. I felt its hot breath on my cheek as it flew by me. At the same time, I thrust my knife upward, plunging it into the beast's belly. Okay, I think that is what happened last time, because I attacked the second time. With a horrible cry of agony, the wildcat crashed face first into the ground. But I lost my balance in the chaos and fell down in a heap as well. I rolled over and was only just able to stagger back to my feet before readying myself for my next opponent. Rained earlier in NY too. Oh yeah, it was supposed to rain here in Texas, but it didn't. I think it's supposed to rain later tonight though. I was breathing heavily. The handle of my knife was slick with sweat and I tightened my grip. With a kick like a bolt of lightning, Kid landed a clean hit on the flank of a nearby wildcat. It staggered before losing its footing, letting out a pathetic cry. But Kid had already moved in to finish it off. And then the roar of fire! A burning smell filled my nostrils, and next to me, a shrill screech pierced the air. Madril's fire engulfed the head of a nearby wildcat. It fled, darting off into the darkness like an arrow. I scanned the area. Only moments ago, we had been surrounded, but now there wasn't a single wildcat left. Okay, so the attacking worked. Attacking both times worked way better. Kid and Madril had either sent the rest off with their tails between their legs or paid them once and for all. Paid to them once and for all. Okay, I think that was some sort of mistranslation. That doesn't make any sense. Unless it's some saying I don't know. But I think it was a mistranslation. Huh, you're dreaming if you think a pack of flea-bitten moggies is gonna stop us, Lynx. Kid crossed her arms and flashed a triumphant grin. Meanwhile, I was panting heavily, and it felt like my legs were about to give out from under me. I collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by what I'd just been through. I almost said underwhelmed. Maybe I've been underwhelmed by the saving. Woo! I'd taken a few hits, but I was fine otherwise. A couple of scars to talk about later, maybe, but nothing that would stop me carrying on. Rebecca, you heard about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? He won the case. I did hear about that. Lots of people on Twitter talking about that. So he did win basically, but I think Amber Heard won like one-on-one count or something like that, but he won most of it. Are you hurt? Madge looked down at me, his face expressionless as ever. No worries, Madge, he'll be alright, said Kid, barging in to get a better look at me. He may be a whinging sook, but it'll take more than a few scratches to kill this one. She was nothing if not sympathetic. But she was right, this was no time to be bemoaning my lot. We hadn't even reached the manor yet. I dabbed at my wounds with a tincture-soaked cloth and wrapped them with bandages, then looked up at the other two. We're just getting started. Sorry, I'm out. You'll have to carry on without me. Okay, I don't even know why I would say this. Like, so I came all this way with them and didn't even get to the manor, and I was like, I'm out. We're just getting started. I grinned back, putting a brave face on things. That's what I like to hear, Kid cheerily announced from close quarters. But then her eyes turned cold, like the cool glow of the moon in the night sky. It's gonna be a long night. Oh boy, is it! Oh boy, is it gonna be a long night since I had to start this game over. I nodded, trying my hardest not to utterly lose myself in her pale blue eyes. Alright, let's get the show back on the road. Okay, so I think in this game there was like this romantic kind of thing between Surge and Kid. I mean, I didn't finish it, obviously. Hurts to get a reminder that I did not finish the game last night. But when I was playing this last night, I was kind of like, what? Like, is there something going on between Kid and Surge? But obviously they cut that out for Chrono Cross, because in Chrono Cross I didn't see anything romantic between Kid and Surge. Surge and Lena were kind of a thing until, you know, everything happened in Chrono Cross. She turned away and marched off deeper into the trees without looking behind to see if me and Magil were following her. Rebecca, you are vastly becoming my new favorite streamer. Oh, Ben, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And by the way, how was your day? My day has been eventful. Just finished up a deluxe seafood platter from Captain D's. Ooh, I love seafood. What's Captain D's? Is that like a chain? Because I don't think we have that in Texas. I've never heard of that. My day was good. Thank you so much for asking. Just worked out, had dinner. I started watching, on Disney Plus, I started watching What If, which, if anyone's a Marvel fan in here and you don't know what it is, I mean, if you are a Marvel fan, you probably know what it is, but it's like scenarios playing out with like alternative, like either timelines or just things happening in the Marvel universe, Marvel movie universe. It's really good. Just spent some time with my dog, and then, so Ben, I don't know when you got here, but I found out I could save in this game, and I definitely recommend watching my reaction. Ricardo can tell you. Ricardo was here for it. I definitely recommend, after the stream is over, going back to like the beginning of the stream if you missed it, and watching my reaction to finding out you can save. Because I would laugh at me. Oh, wait, I already just read that. Captain D's is a seafood restaurant chain. I haven't heard of that. That must be a regional thing. Wow, I just saw Sean McDonough on ESPN covering Lightning vs. Rangers game. He used to be on CBS in the 90s covering baseball in the playoffs. He's older now, damn. Oh yeah? I don't know him. But then again, I guess I don't really know many sports commentators. I know Joe Buck. He was on The Masked Singer. I mean, I don't know him from The Masked Singer. Like, I knew he was like a commentator. But I was surprised. I was surprised to see him on The Masked Singer. Which, if anyone like hasn't watched The Masked Singer, that's a really good show. It seems really stupid, but it's really fun. Magil, of course, was already right behind her, his unhurried gait making it seem as though nothing much had happened at all. I jumped back up to my feet to chase after them. I'd been in for even more trouble than I'd bargained for if I got separated from them. I don't like in this game how Surge is made out to be like incompetent. Because I was saying that last night. I was like, why is Surge like so weak? Because he was the best fighter in Chrono Cross. Obviously they, you know, adjusted some things, but still, I don't like seeing him like this. I love Surge. The dark forest inside the manor's perimeter seemed to go on forever, a labyrinth of trees and boulders. He was a classic broadcaster from the 90s. Oh, okay. Rebecca, don't be embarrassed. Well, you know what, Ben? If it's for the content, I'm okay with it. Your reaction was priceless. Thank you, Ricardo. Hi, just saw your previous video. I don't know if you figured it out yet, but you can save with ZLZR plus X. Thank you so much, Maddie. I really appreciate that. Maddie, I literally just figured out how I can save, because when I restarted this game, right? And then I just caught at the beginning the controls, and it said like, why, bring up the menu. And I was like, wait a minute, was there a menu? I didn't even know there was a menu. So I was like, wait, was there a menu? And then I pressed Y, and then I was like, okay, so Maddie, I don't know when you got here, but I have a reaction to this that, as Ricardo says, is priceless. And so I definitely recommend, after my stream is over, going back and watching like the very beginning. You don't even have to watch far because it happens right at the beginning of the stream. I would say we're only like 20 minutes in. And so I'd say that probably happened like 10 minutes ago. And I literally just like sat here for like a full minute just being like, oh, I can save. And I just saved again. Okay, we're gonna do lots of saving tonight. I can tell you that much. The manor itself loomed in the distance, glowering. I think it's glowering. I've always said glowering, but I think the correct pronunciation is glowering. Glowering over the vast grounds, and hidden within was a veritable mountain of treasure, just waiting for us. I added you to my YouTube live streamers list on Twitter. I appreciate that, Ben. And I made my YouTube live streamers list available public for YouTube streamers to connect with one another. I have over 22 members on that list, including you. I really appreciate that, Ben. I will have to check that out. Thank you so much for adding me to that list. Oh, LOL, I have to see it. Yes, you do. I definitely recommend it, even though, I mean, I'm just like recommending people come and like laugh at me, but seriously, it's worth it. Glad you found out. I actually never saw that screen again, which is weird. Really? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, the game is just set up weird. And then, you know, Maddie, I was looking for a whole bunch of information on this game last night after my stream because I was so upset that I got so far. Like, I got so far, and then in the end, nothing even mattered. And like, I was looking up, I was like Googling like everything I could about this game, and I think it's just, there's just not a lot of information out there. I think just a lot of people didn't play it, I guess, because I couldn't find any information on how to save. Literally, the only reason I found out was because I just happened to catch the controls sign at the beginning of the game and was like, wait, there's a menu button. Lord Lynx was the noble who ruled the remote territory of Regiora. He was also Kid's mortal enemy. So, Maddie, you're a fan of this game then? Do you like Chrono Cross too? We were there that night to steal a certain jewel he kept locked away in his most closely guarded vault, the Frozen Flame. The Frozen Flame was veiled in mystery. It was said to be imbued with an uncanny energy and possessed of a beauty and clarity that made it a priceless treasure. So I'm wondering if at this point, if they meant the Frozen Flame to be what it was in Chrono Cross. You know what I mean? Because they're talking about it saying like it's a jewel here. But I don't know if they obviously didn't really know what it was, but I don't know if at this time they meant it to be like a piece of Lavos. Countless thieves had tried to steal it, and not one of them had come close to succeeding. Nor had any of them escaped the manor alive. And now it was our turn to try and sneak into this place of death. Okay, I did not realize this last night, but, like, why would we want to do this? Like, nobody had returned alive, and nobody had been successful at stealing the Frozen Flame, but it sounds like a great idea to us. Led by a girl who had the ambition to make the impossible possible, a hunger for vengeance that drove her onward, and a desire for riches that could never be satisfied. Also, yesterday when you died in the playthrough, I feel all in the stream had a shock moment. Literally, it seemed we were near the end. I know, right? We were so close. We must have been so close because we found out the Frozen Flame was a fake. And so I don't know how much longer the game would have gone on, but it must have been really, really close. And I mean, it was about, so I checked the time after my stream. It was 3.5 hours, I think, around that time. And this game can't be very long. So, yeah. Yeah, I am with you there. I also had a shock moment. And, like, it's also, like, you don't know when you can die, you know? It's not like I have a health bar. I don't know how many hits I can take before I'm gonna die. As we pressed on through the tree-filled darkness, the shadows gave way at last, revealing the true extent of the vast mansion. From what I heard, the original Satellaview version might not have had saving. That's what Ricardo said. Ricardo, that's what you said last night. That might be why there isn't much info on it online. Yeah, that's true. But I'm also wondering, like, you know, since the remaster came out, I think a lot of people played the remaster, but then it makes me wonder, like, did not a lot of people play, like, the Radical Dreamers, you know, this in the remaster that came with it, what I'm playing now? You know what I mean? Because I found walkthroughs for this. I found lots of walkthroughs for this game. But just not a lot on, like, on this particular version, like the remastered version. Heh, finally, say your prayers, Lynx, because we're coming for you. Keeping to the overgrowth and the shadows of the trees, we made our way around the manor walls in search of a means of entry. You know what, though? I will say this. It would be more nostalgic if it didn't have saving. Because it was more common in those days for games to be shorter but have no save. And then that way they would last longer, because if you died, you had to start over. So it was kind of like them making sure you got your money's worth, because you had to have enough content to, you know, ensure that people buying the game, it's worth their money and their time. Eventually, we came to a terrace overlooking the garden. There was no sign of any guards nearby. The only thing surrounding the manor was an uncanny stillness. I actually played this on the remaster before I played Chrono Cross. I like Chrono Cross, but only finished it recently, then found your Chrono Cross playthroughs. Well, I appreciate you checking out my Chrono Cross playthroughs, Maddie. I really do appreciate that. So have you played Chrono Trigger then? Also, what is the Satellaview? Like, I could have looked this up last night, but I didn't, because I know, Ricardo, you mentioned that last night too, the Satellaview. And then wasn't this game only released in Japan originally? So was that like a Japanese console? 2-1 Rangers, nice! This will lead us straight into the West Wing. Just as well, we don't have any business in the rest of the manor tonight, said Magil, gazing up at the dark building towering over us in the night. Alright then, what are we waiting for? With that, Kin made a vault over the railing of the terrace. Stop! Magil hissed sharply. Remember what we're here for. Our main target is the vault and the frozen flame within it. We focused on this above all else. Your vengeance is of secondary concern. Agreed? Okay, and then that sounds like Magus. That really sounds like him. Glancing over her shoulder, Kid replied with a reluctant, yeah, don't get your knickers in a twist. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna knock that Drongo's block off, and neither you or anybody else is gonna stop me. Heh heh heh, ha ha ha. Not sure why she would laugh after that. I guess Kid was going to get her way whether we liked it or not. Let's go, boys, the night is young. She cleared the railing with a sprightly hop and vanished inside the manor. I glanced her Magil and nodded in silence. We followed Kid's lead, and were soon inside Lord Lynx's lair. The darkness swallowed us whole. A corridor stretched off to the left and right from the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. We decided to go right, we decided to go left. Okay, I did a lot of exploring around here last night. So I will just, I don't know, go wherever. We pressed on through the darkness, down corridors that turned and twisted snake-like this way and that. Everything around us was still and silent, and felt strangely like we were being watched. Okay. We continued, creeping cautiously down the corridors. Kid moved proudly and stealthily like a cat stalking its prey, while in the shadows, Magil followed, gliding swiftly and silently like a sinister breeze. Oh, come on, Radical Dreamers, you gotta give me more time, I'm streaming, I gotta read all this stuff out loud. Okay, so I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save like every 5 seconds now. We took the corridor leading from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually arriving at an intersection with some stairs. The path to the right led down the stairs, the path to the left was a dark side passage, and the main corridor continued straight onward. So I remember this was the study. The side passage to the left was the study. We headed down the side passage. At the end of it, we came to an old, immaculately polished door. Yeah, I played Chrono Trigger earlier this year and I love it. Nice. Yeah, I love Chrono Trigger. That's one of my favorite games. I think that is one of the best games ever made. Did you get all the endings, Maddie? Okay, we're gonna go inside the study. Kid gently pushed the door ajar and peeked into the room. And then we're going to investigate something else. The next thing I knew, she'd slipped inside. Madrill and I followed. Because last time I checked the desk. Looks like a study. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams through the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings, and shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from foreign lands. Okay, so I checked the desk last time, so I'm gonna check... I'll check the paintings. I stood in front of one particularly prominent painting on the wall and examined it closely in the pale moonlight that shone through the window. It was a watercolor of a landscape that could only have come from some feverish dream. But I almost said feverish. I tried to put an R in there. Day, night, and all the seasons of the year merged into one in a world that seemed to be melting. I thought I could make out several faces among the chaos. Interesting. I wonder if it's a painting of that, when you first switch bodies with Lynx, and then you go into, like, the dimensional void or whatever it was called. Okay, gonna give a huge Satellaview lore explanation. So back in the mid-90s, Nintendo was in a weird time where they started releasing weird products. N64 had cartridges, Virtual Boy, etc. Super agree, definitely one of the best games I've played. It inspired me to start getting into other RPGs around that era. Oh, okay. What other games do you like? In the midst of the madness sat a small black gem, a red flame serenely flickering within. What was this picture trying to convey? Had Lynx put it here himself? What you looking at, Serge? Found something valuable? Kid came over to where I was standing and picked up a porcelain plate from a nearby shelf. She weighed it in her hand, seemingly appraising its value. Nice little piece this, yeah. Must have cost about enough to feed a family for a year. She paused. Not that I give a rat's arse. After all, it ain't the plate's fault some idiot spent that much on it. An almost sheepish grin flickered across her lips. And with the N64 getting delayed, they decided to sign a Japanese satellite broadcast company called St. Giga and released an accessory for the Japanese SNES so you could connect and download games. Okay, so it was just a Japanese thing. We'll come back for it later. She gently put it back on the shelf. Oh! We'll come back for it later. Okay, so I have to come back for it. So, okay, so it's a good thing that I, investigated something else then. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, it might as well have been a thunderclap. Kid and I stood bolt upright and turned toward it. Madrill, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Okay, so we hid in the shadows behind the door last time, so I'm gonna hide at the desk this time because it's like the butler or somebody, like a maid or somebody, but they don't even come into the room. Panicked, I whispered to the kid, hide under the desk. Hide under the desk. You what? There's no time. I shoved Kid under the desk, then darted under it with her. Oof, it was more cramped than I thought it would be. I packed myself in as best as I could, but Kid and I found ourselves in an awkward tangle of legs and arms. Slowly, the door opened. Flickering candlelight spread from the doorway with a warm glow. A shadowy figure appeared at the threshold. I tried to pack myself into the space under the desk just a little tighter and stilled my breath. I looked down for a moment and my heart skipped a beat. Kid's lips were right there. Oh boy. For a moment, everything else seemed to drift away. The pink bow of her mouth was so soft, so perfectly formed. Yeah, Serge definitely has a thing for Kid in this game. Suddenly, my heart was beating so loud I thought my chest would burst. I tore my eyes away and squeezed them tightly shut. but it seemed that whoever it was didn't mean to come in, they simply stood there. Strange, I thought I heard something. But the lord of the manor is away, of course. Why would there be anyone in here? Exactly. I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine until we heard the news that Poor was on the move. The figure quietly closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness. The voice trailed off to a whisper. We remained motionless, keeping our ears pricked for any sign of an unwelcome return. All we heard were footsteps moving away. As I stayed hidden, listening for trouble, a thought began to cross my mind. Kid sure does smell nice. Oh my god, Serge, you're being creepy. Of course, you had to pay a membership, and getting everything was super expensive, almost $1,000 for a 3-month period of usage. But a lot of exclusive games got released for this. Oh, okay. That is pretty expensive, though. 3-2 Rangers was 2-2 when lightning tied it. Oh, nice. Radical Dreamers, a sequel to NES Excite Bike using Mario characters, new IPs, Zelda 1 remake for SNES, an extra expansion for Link to the Past. It was crazy exciting, but stayed Japanese only. Ah, man. Japan always gets the good stuff, don't they? Oi, Serge, you gonna move your arse or what? She whispered into my ear, her breath tickling as she spoke. Huh, sorry. I rushed to my feet in a panic, smacking my head right into the top of the desk. Yeah, I would do that too. Ow! Cradling my head in my hands, I crawled out from underneath. Ooh, that stings. Kid followed right after and stood up, looking down at me on the floor. Not your most heroic moment, you alright? Yeah, I'll live. She took a look around the room. No sign of that dirtbag Lynx. Lucky for him, she snorted. So Poor has made its move. Madrigal emerged from the shadows, contemplating the news we'd overheard. Kid, if the rumors are true, we might as well be about to find ourselves in a very difficult situation. This seemed to set her thinking too. Poor was a powerful nation that ruled the southern continent. I'd heard it was a prosperous land whose recent and sudden development had pushed it far ahead of its neighbors, which made me wonder, what would its inhabitants want here, out in the sticks? Nintendo, by the end of the 90s, abandoned ST Giga, who tried to keep the service running, or is it Saint Giga? Is it ST Giga or Saint Giga? Tried to keep the service running, but in 2000 finally closed. There's a video on YouTube of a player who recorded the shutdown. Oh, okay. Well, it makes sense I never heard of it then. They couldn't be after the Frozen Flame too, could they? As valuable as it might be, a jewel was just a jewel in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't imagine it being an item of national interest. I mean, ultimately, it was just a pretty rock, right? Let them do what they want. If everyone's busy playing soldiers, they won't be bothering us. Come on, we've got things to do. She headed for the door. We left the room and made our way back to down the side passage. We made our way back down the dark side passage leading from the study. Eventually, we arrived back at the intersection. Some stairs led downward, and the corridor branched left and right, with the right branch leading back toward the terrace. I'll go left. We continued onward, past where the stairs and the side passage emerged into the main corridor. We found ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. I'll go inside. What was this room again? Is this Riddle's room? Kid gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Doesn't look like anyone's in there. It seemed to be the main hall of the manor. Oh, it's the main hall. Okay, so I can't do anything here. Well, the Satella view is really cool. It had an amazing BIOS that was practically a JRPG, incredible music. So years later, online communities started dumping these ROMs online and translating them. Oh, that's pretty cool. I thought about it like this. What if Fusely and Nickmercs and Ninja, Miyoung, and XQC started exclusively streaming on YouTube? How would you think it would be, Rebecca? I think a lot of people would move over to YouTube then. A lot of people. I mean, I think that when Ludwig and... Well, actually, not at the time of Ludwig, but I think at the time, like, Saikuno moved over, that announcement came out around the same time that Twitch had their news of them considering having a 50-50 split across all subs, and I think a lot of people moved over then. Not like the majority of streamers, because most streamers are still like very, very attached to the idea of Twitch, and they will not even like entertain the idea of streaming somewhere else. But I think it made a lot of people move over. But Nintendo, just like the Virtual Boy, usually just likes to pretend the Satellaview never existed. So you can imagine how excited I felt to see the Nintendo Direct where they announced this game. Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize Radical Dreamers was like a thing until I got this game. I only knew about Chrono Cross, and I was like, oh, I want to play Chrono Cross because I never got a chance to play it. And then I didn't even know what Radical Dreamers was, and then I opened Chrono Cross for the first time, right? And I see something there that says Radical Dreamers, and I'm like, wait, what is that? So, click on it, and then it like starts a new game. I'm like, what is that? So I had to go look it up. But I mean, I'm glad I even bothered to click on it. Next to the wall. Oh, wait. What did I read already? I don't even know. I'll just start from the beginning. It seemed to be the main hall of the manor. There was a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towered a tremendous pipe organ, like a burnished black mountain. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, sending the corners of the room dancing in and out of shadow. Several enormous portraits glowered down from high on the wall. Were these members of Lynx's family? I was busy staring at a painting depicting a young husband and wife when I realized that their eyes had turned to look right at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry. This isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost story. It just looked that way because of the way the flickering light of the candles reflected against the glossy oil paints. Obviously. Probably. This place gives me the creeps, and get a load of all these ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else. Neither Magil nor I had any objections. We left the hall and returned to the corridor. Okay, so we're back at the intersection. Let's go down the stairs. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into blackness as we went. At the bottom, the path split. The way to the left continued on to an atrium that resembled some sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passageway that trailed off into the darkness. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the atrium. So I do remember what happened in the atrium last time. We got attacked by a bunch of piranhas. So we're gonna save. Kid poked her head through the arch-shaped door and took a look around. Huh, it's big in here. Must be some kind of hall. We took a cautious look around, then entered, one after another. The atrium was like a beautiful plaza, complete with a statue that doubled as a fountain. Pillars and arches, not archers, we'd really be in trouble then. Arches lined the walls, and in the center was a small pool of clear water, above which the statue stood. On the other side of the room, I could see another arched entrance like the one we had come through. Ooh, that's cold. Kid was scooping up water from the fountain. I went over to her, and resting my hand on the edge of the marble basin, peered into the pool beneath. Shadows flickered under the water's surface. You reckon these fish are rare, as in valuable? Kid leaned right over the edge. I couldn't see the bottom. I wondered how deep it was. The shadow of one of the fish grew larger and larger. Whoa! Sensing danger, Kid leapt back from the edge. Clack! A fish leaped out from the water and snapped at her, its jaws bristling with razor-sharp teeth. Wow, what a goal set up! 4-2 Rangers. Nice! Ms. Kiff, imagine him streaming here on YouTube. I mean, I think he'd still be successful on YouTube. I think, like, the streamers at that level, like, people would watch them anywhere. But, Ludwig actually talked about that. He said that, like, somebody like Mizkif does a lot of, like, reaction content, and that's better suited for something like Twitch. But, like, for someone with, like, Saikuno, who does mostly gaming content, he's better off on YouTube. But, I mean, I think, like, Mizkif already has, like, a a lot of views on his videos, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think Ludwig is wrong, but I think like the culture of YouTube streaming can change if you get streamers that do like different types of content onto your platform, then you can make your platform a place where you like people do all kinds of live streaming. But I mean, I don't see why like the reaction type content wouldn't do well on YouTube. So basically, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I could see him streaming on YouTube. Its mouth closed shut on the air where she'd been only moments before, and with a splash, the fish darted back under the water. Piranodons, deadly carnivorous fish with razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws that could snap a monster's horn in half. Staring in horror, I watched as dark shadows began to gather in what little of the pool I could make out. The piranodons must have detected prey. Soon the room was filled with the sound of splashing and snapping as the fish teemed at the water's surface. Bloody hell. Even Kid was uneasy. She took another step back. How many piranodons were in the pool? The thought of what would happen if they all leapt clear of the water and attacked all at once crossed my mind. A bead of cold sweat rolled down my forehead. Suddenly, the water coming from the statue turned crimson and shot out in a powerful jet that nearly touched the ceiling. Kid jumped back again. I just stood in shock, watching the torrent of water erupting from the statue. The scarlet waters continued to gush out from the fountain. The pool grew redder and redder and started to overflow. We looked on, entranced. But the spell was soon broken when we realized the water was starting to flow faster and faster over the rim of the basin. Piranodons began to jump and snap at the water's surface with bloodthirsty glee. I was brought to my senses by the dull slapping of piranodons hitting the floor. Go back the way we came. Kid, let's get out of here. In a panic, we splashed through the water back to the corridor where we came from. The fangs of the piranodon snapped at my legs, and I felt a searing pain, but I had to endure it if I had any hope of reaching the entrance. Breathing heavily, I finally found myself back in the corridor outside. Ooh, that was a close call. So that whole thing was a trap, eh? Talk about twisted. Lynx is even more of a sick bastard than I thought. I was about to say he wouldn't have to be if he didn't have to guard against people like her breaking into his home, but I thought better of it. Okay, so I'm gonna save. So that went a lot better than last time, because at first I tried to fight the fish, and that didn't go very well, and then I tried to go to the exit on the other side, which didn't even make any sense, because why would you not go to the exit that's closer to you? So I think I got hit a few more times in there. Well, at any rate, I think we can consider that a dead end. Let's go back. Defeated, we left the atrium. Okay, I wonder what happens if you try to go back into the atrium. See, the good thing about having to start this game over is that, you know, I get to make different choices. Something caused Kid to stop in her tracks. Hello, hello, what do we have here? She pointed to the side of the entranceway to the hall. I found myself face to face with a sculpture of an old man's face with a truly phenomenal beard. Oh, it's the mouth of truth. The sculpture's eyes seemed to gleam with life. For a piece of marble, it seemed almost too realistic. It's a mouth of truth, announced Magil. An enchanted statue that can tell when you're lying. If it catches you out, it'll bite your hand off. Magil kept his explanation simple so that Kid wouldn't drift off before he got to the important part. Huh, so what's it doing here, then? I suspect it's part of a greater mechanism. Stick your hand in its gob, do ya? Righto, let's see what happens, shall we? With a mischievous glint in her eye, Kid darted over and stuck her hand in its mouth without a moment's hesitation. She stood there for a moment waiting, but it didn't take too long for her to get bored. Huh, nothing. Suddenly, I had an idea. Hey, Kid, who's the greatest thief who ever lived? Ha, me, of course, you drunk. Kid answered without a moment's hesitation, and then suddenly her face twisted with pain. The teeth of the marble sculpture had clamped down on her hand. It bit me, she cried. Knock it off, everyone knows it's the true— Ow! The sculpture bit her again as soon as she spoke. Grr, you little— A cold sweat formed on Kid's forehead. The sculpture was tightening its grip. It won't let go until you say something true. Despite the obvious urgency of the situation, Magil was matter-of-fact as ever. Just say anything, kid. Anything, as long as it's the truth. Obviously, Kid wasn't listening. Instead, she just kicked awkwardly at the statue. Oi, Beery, let go of me bloody hand. She planted her feet either side of its mouth and tried her hardest to pull herself out. She heaved, kicked and stamped, grunted and strained, and then finally her hand popped free. I was taken aback by what I just witnessed and couldn't say a word. See, told you it was the truth. Kid raised her hand in the air triumphantly, as if to demonstrate. I could see heavy bite marks. The sculpture hadn't come away from the struggle unscathed either. Kid's attempt to break free had left it cracked in several places. Madrigal pointed silently at part of it. I went to take a closer look and saw a pale, flesh-colored tongue. I expect we're supposed to put something there, commented Madrigal. Something? What exactly? I replied. Kid stood there for a moment, lost in thought. And then she started to unload all the knickknacks she'd been carrying. It was a strange collection of odds and ends pulled out from her pockets, her boots, and even from her braid. All right, Serge. Now it's your turn to have a go at that stupid statue. Kid grinned at me, holding her assortment of knickknacks out on the palms of both hands. I guess she decided that whatever further horrors the statue had in store, she'd rather not face them herself. Nice kid. Real nice. Grumbling to myself, I reached out to pick an item. I chose... Okay, so I tried this last time, and nothing worked. So, I think I will just skip all of this. If Rangers win Stanley Cup, NY is gonna go nuts. I bet. I lingered for a moment, but pulled my hand away. It didn't seem like any of them was what we were looking for. What we were looking for. Alright, let's just forget about it for now, muttered Kid, stowing all her valuables. I was sure we'd find a use for this stuff. Whatever, best get moving, eh? Defeated, we left the atrium behind us. Leaving the atrium behind us, we immediately found ourselves at a fork in the path. To the right was a passage to some stairs leading upward. A dark passageway continued on directly ahead of us where we stood. Okay, so if we go back into the atrium, does that mean I just go back to the Mouth of Truth? You've got to be kidding me, shouted Kid, glaring at me. Are you telling me to swim through a bloody lake of piranodons? Yeah, you can count me out, mate. How am I supposed to charm me victims with big chunks bitten out of me? I guess she had a point. Here's a better plan. Why don't we go back to Beardy and try sticking something down his gob? Sure enough, she pulled out her bundle of odds and ends. Do I have to? I asked, knowing the answer. Which was probably just as well, since Kid only glared at me in response. My hand hovered for a moment before I finally reached for something. I chose... Okay, so yeah, we do just go back to the Mouth of Truth. And I am not going to waste my time. Because I did this last night and none of them worked. So I don't know what I'm supposed to put in there. Okay, so we'll just keep going straight. We left the atrium and continued on down the path ahead. When is the last time I saved? I'm gonna be, like, really panicky about saving now. The last time I saved was, like, 5 minutes ago. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the right-hand side. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming from inside? Okay, this is Riddle's room. Go inside. Okay, so now I'm going to inspect something else because I inspected the music box last time. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and the cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Though the room was richly furnished, somehow it still felt awfully lonely. Hey Rebecca, how you been? Glad that you were able to stream tonight. Hey OP, I have been good, how are you? I figured out how to save in this game, so we've got that going for us. So, it's been a good day. Nothing really happened. Nothing exciting really happened today, except that I figured out how to save in this game. But normal day otherwise, you know, worked out, had dinner. I watched What If on Disney Plus, spent time with my dog. Kid took a quick look around before commenting. It's Lynx's girls' room. A half-written letter on the desk and a teacup, still warm, suggested that the lady of the manor was still nearby. But it didn't seem that anyone was here now. We decided to search the room. Some charming flowers, a discarded cotton handkerchief, a small bottle of perfume. Nothing that meant much to me, nor anything that seemed particularly valuable. Kid seemed to have the same impression, not expression. I mean, she might have had the same expression. And scanned the room, clearly not expecting to find anything. The only item of note was a small antique box, which bore a crest resembling a viper. I decided where to look next. Awesome, I know, right? Let's look at the drawers. I slid open one of the finely veneered drawers. Frills, lace, and sequins greeted me in reds, pinks, yellows, and a host of other vivid colors. A bounty of beautiful silk garments overflowed from within. Dresses, eh? Give us a look. I'd been just about to close the drawer again when Kid came up and started peering over my shoulder. She reached out a hand to touch one of them, though I sensed a certain hesitation. I've never worn anything this posh in me life. The gown she picked out was cut simply but beautifully, and was decorated with a pale floral pattern on a white background. She held it up to her chest and took a gentle twirl around the room. She was as light on her feet as a woodland nymph. The fabric fluttered like flower petals, and she held the hem just so. In that brief moment, you could have almost called her dainty. Ah, stupid thing, not exactly me, eh? I wouldn't say that, I think it really suits you. Oh, shut your gob, you arse kisser. Her face turned an angry red. Come on, we ain't got all night. The spell well and truly broken, she stomped out of the room. Rattle. Kid stopped us, there's something there. Okay, so, you know what, actually, wait. Did this happen last time? I don't know. But I was gonna say, I'm gonna reload and then see what happens when I inspect the bed. Do you know how long is this game? I had not seen it before. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's that long. Like, so last night when I was playing, I stopped at about 3.5 hours, but I was pretty sure I was really close to the end. So I can't imagine it's any longer than like 5 hours. Rattle, Kid stopped us. There's something there. I listened carefully. Rattle, rattle, rattle. A figure appeared in the darkness on the other side of the corridor. It's a skeleton. We readied ourselves for a fight. Oh, this didn't happen last time. Oh, wait a minute. But I think this is just a random encounter. Assess the situation. We squared off against the skeleton. It threw the sword it was carrying to the ground and took a step forward. And then it twisted its body into a strange pose. Wait, is it doing what I think it is? What is it doing? It proceeded to contort itself further, adopting a shape that could only be described as highly suggestive. What? For a moment, no one knew quite how to respond. What the bloody hell? What should we... Wait, Kid, look at Madge. Madge seemed completely bewitched. There was no way he'd be any use to us in this state. What were we going to do? Attack. Come on then, I charged at the skeleton. I took advantage of the opening created when it raised its sword and kicked it as hard as I could in its lower spine. There was an almighty crack as the bone snapped and the skeleton fell in two. A split second later, Kid landed a massive blow on the top half. With its skull shattered, the skeleton immediately came to a halt. Huh, guess you can fight after all. We had defeated the skeleton. Kid turned her attention back to Magil. Can't believe this Drongo, though. Thwack. She brought her fist down hard on his head. Maybe that'll wake you up. Now, if we're done here, let's get a bloody move on. Brooke AB, Tina Kitten, Nicolo, Nadeshot, Sidion, Quarter Jade, Masayoshi, Yvonne would be great people to add to YouTube streaming roster because they mostly play games brand friendly. Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, like, I think any of like the really big streamers would be a win for YouTube. Like anything I think that like takes away from Twitch, and like any of the big streamers on Twitch right now going to YouTube, I think would be like a major win. I mean, they've all like YouTube has already had some major wins with like some of the streamers they've been getting, But I think like anything moving from Twitch to YouTube is like indicating that YouTube is really starting to give Twitch competition. Because if they weren't any real competition, then nobody would move over there. I do think that like YouTube is definitely more like family friendly. Like so they would definitely have to get either change their policies on um like the content, like because like YouTube doesn't really allow like a lot of swearing or like a lot of like adult stuff. So like Markiplier in some of his videos, like he tries to stop swearing. Like you can see it happening in his videos. He'll be like, "Oh shoot." Because you can get demonetized. Your videos can get demonetized if you swear too much. So either streamers, if they like really want to like do a lot of swearing or like a lot of adult content, they'll either have to like tone that down or YouTube is going to have to change their policies on that. Wait a second, what's that? There was a leather bag on the ground containing some recently cooked meat. Oh, okay, this happened last night and I think this just heals you. And then that's the same thing that she said before. Okay, so can I just like load? Okay, let's just save in the second slot. So so I'm gonna oh, I guess I have to completely restart. Okay, so I'm gonna reload that game and then go into Riddle's room and check the bed and see what happens then. Okay, so we're gonna check the bed. The comfortable looking bed caught my attention. I patted it gently. Ye gods, it was even softer and cozier than it looked. I lifted the edge of the blanket. It was so light I could barely feel it at all. I mean, that's not a very good blanket then, is it? How could it be so downy? And how come it smelled so nice? Suddenly, Kid kicked me straight in the backside. Kicked me right in the backside. Ah, what are you doing? The momentum sent me flying onto the bed. Kid stood over me, glowering menacingly. What are you doing, more like? Fondling the linen and grinning like a loon? I wasn't grinning. She gave me a derisive grunt and turned her back on me. Pah, could have fooled me. Why don't you sniff her bloody pillow while you're at it? Oh, is she jealous? Without warning, she grabbed me by the arm and yanked me off the bed and toward the door. We're leaving. You obviously can't be trusted in a girl's bedroom. I wasn't doing anything. You got it all wrong. But she wasn't convinced, and I was left with the distinct feeling I'd been branded some kind of bed-sniffing weirdo. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so nothing interesting happened there. So I'm just gonna reload. I'm gonna reload the other slot now, or the other save game now. I mean, Pokimane, she would be good for YouTube streaming, but she would have to separate herself from the Twitch mindset. Ms. Skiff said that she would be a good fit for YouTube gaming. Yeah. I mean, I agree, but she's just very, like, pro Twitch. she reminds me of like some of these other streamers that I talk to that like I try to convince people to not I don't even try to convince people to like come to YouTube. All I do is try to convince people to like consider doing something else, like just research YouTube or Facebook or Trovo or just like look into it. You don't have to switch over. Just do your research, just like look into it. And people won't even do that. Like people won't even consider it. They're just like, no, Twitch is the place for streamers. And like she just reminds me of like somebody that is not even like, they just like won't even consider even looking at it. Bed sniffing weirdo, I know, right? But you know what, Commander Shepard, we are not a bed sniffing weirdo because we reloaded the other game where we did not inspect the bed. Okay, so we're gonna go right. We went down the dark passageway, eventually finding ourselves at a sturdy-looking, immaculately polished door. Kid sniffed at the air, just as I thought. Something stinks here. I reckon we found the beast lair, lads. Okay, I think this is Lynx's room. In the darkness, Kid's lips twisted into a grin that turned my blood cold. Okay, so we're gonna save here. We'll save over the first slot. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. It was Lynx's room, but he didn't seem to be around. Does she remind you of a Karen-type person? Not really. Not really like a Karen type, but she seems very, like, cliquey to me. Like, have you ever seen Mean Girls? She kind of reminds me of, like, Regina George. Like, she's very, like, cliquey, because, like, before Sunday, I think this past Sunday, because I know she played a bunch of games with like Valkyrie and like a bunch of other people, but that was the first time I'd ever seen her play something that was like with people that weren't from Twitch. She just seems like very cliquey about Twitch, like Twitch's people on Twitch are like better than everybody else. And then like, it's, you know, in my experience, like I've also found some people who will defend Twitch at like any cost. And it's just like, it's just kind of like ridiculous the lengths that people will go to defend Twitch. And she kind of reminds me of like one of those people. So like when Ludwig went to YouTube, he explained his whole reasoning for like why he went to YouTube, and people were asking Pokimane about it, and she said that like, oh well, YouTube is not that great either, and then she like pulled up a video and it like didn't have as many views as she said it should have, and she was like, well, this isn't reflecting the amount of views it should have, and I asked YouTube about it and they haven't gotten back to me, so you know, YouTube is not that great. But I mean, that seemed like a very strange example to like, as to why YouTube was not very good, because like that seems to be like a very minor thing compared to like all the things that Twitch does and is doing still currently. And so I don't know, she seems like very cliquey to me, and then just kind of like immature. Hi chat, hi Rebecca, Aaron, hello! Thank you so much for coming in, how are you doing? The only way you're going to succeed as a streamer you're on YouTube is you're going to have to separate yourself from the Twitch mindset. Yeah, and I mean, like, people do succeed on Twitch, but, like, I think it's like, I don't, like, I mean, I love being on YouTube, but I don't, like, YouTube is, it also has its flaws, right? And I just think that, like, you shouldn't be thinking that, like, Twitch can't do anything wrong. Like, cause, like, I've met some people that are, like, defending Twitch at all costs, and, like, Twitch can do, like, no wrong in their eyes. And that is definitely, like, not the way to go about that. Like, especially since, you know, there's no discoverability on Twitch if you just stay on Twitch. So Aaron, how are you doing? Guess what, Aaron? I found out how to save. I was talking about you earlier when I found out how to save. Clicky immature Twitch streamer. Yeah, and I mean, you know, like, they're, like, a lot of these, like, really big streamers are, like, they're young, and they like got really big when they were young, and so they do tend to be immature. Head, the bugger's gone and scarpered because he heard I was coming. There's something deeply unpleasant about the room. There wasn't anything unusual about the furniture and fittings, not how they looked or how they were made, but taken as a whole, it all felt discordant. Was this a reflection of Lynx, a seemingly ordinary facade that hid a disturbing truth only some could see? Let's see what we can find. The desk drawers, the paintings on the wall, the vase on top of the side table, we left no stone unturned. There didn't seem to be anything suspicious. But as I scanned the room, something unusual caught my eye. There's a pedestal in one corner with a significant-looking scarlet cloth drawn over it. I slowly raised my hand toward it. Be careful what you touch in here, warned Magil. I pulled my hand back timidly. But then the cloth flipped back with a flutter without me having laid a finger on it. Okay, we're gonna save. Because I know I made some choices with this mirror that I want to see what happens if I do something else. I'm good, just tired, but nothing out of the ordinary. How are you? I saw you save. Awesome. I just got in. Okay, so, Aaron, guess what? The way I figured out how to save is that when I restarted this game, I just caught, like, at the very beginning, I caught, like, the controls screen, and then it had, like, a menu button, and I was like, wait, what? There's a menu button? Maybe I can save in there. And then when I got into the game, I pressed Y, the menu button, and I could save. And so, and then literally I was like, oh my god, I figured out how to save Where's Aaron? But I do recommend, after the stream is over, going back and watching the beginning to see my reaction, because it is, as Ricardo says, priceless. And you don't even have to watch very far, because it's like 10 minutes into the stream. Did that thing just move by itself? Exclaimed Kid, her eyes wide open with surprise. Gripped by curiosity, we moved in to see what it had been hiding. It was a large antique mirror of an elaborately decorated style I've seen before. It wasn't the kind of thing that would normally seem out of place in an old manor like this. And yet... Wait, something ain't right, said Kid. Meanwhile, I was captivated by the gaze of the statue of Venus reflected in the mirror. Suddenly, the eyes of the statue shone with light. What is your desire? It spoke with a voice that was crystal clear, yet smoky and husky. The mirror, it's speaking, I stammered. Ah, a whispering mirror, muttered Magil, as if he'd seen them 1,000 times before. Okay, we're gonna save again. Okay, see, now I'm gonna be, like, fanatic about saving. What's one of those? Kid gave Magil a quizzical glance. A magical mirror in which a spirit dwells. The spirit can freely move between its own and other mirrors, and will share its wisdom with those who ask. Perhaps we should ask it something. I decided to ask it about something that had been on my mind for some time. Oh, wait a minute. Because I hadn't found the treasure room yet. So it doesn't tell me... Oh, wait a minute. This did... No, okay, never mind. Because I did... It did ask me this, or I asked it about Magil, and then, like, the room turned black, and then, like, that was it. But... I wonder if... Because I think I found it after I found the treasure room, and then I asked... Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's ask about Kid, because we asked about Magil last time. I want to know about Kid's past. I want to see your reaction. Well, you can definitely see it, OP, after the stream if you just go like 10 minutes into the stream, or watch like the first like 10 minutes, I would say, of the stream, and it's gonna be on YouTube forever anytime you want to watch. There's something that I like about the culture of YouTube that I really like about the people, because I've been a part of it for the last 15 years as a viewer and amateur streamer. Twitch reminds me of a cult. Yeah, I get what you're saying there, Ben. Like, people always go on about, like, the community feel of Twitch, which is definitely true. Like, it's got, like, that community feel, but then in doing so, it tends to be, like, very cliquey. Like, people will only go to the streamers that, like, they're a part of their community, and they don't really, like, go anywhere else. They don't really go anywhere, like, outside of their circle. And then, like, for me, when I was on Twitch, I don't know, I just, like, I didn't really have a lot of people, like, coming back. Like, they would come in, like, one time, and then they would, like, never come back. And then, like, I'd get a raid, and I have a bunch of people follow, but I never had anybody, like, coming back. And so, like, I feel like on YouTube, like, most of you guys in here that I met, like, you guys came in with YouTube recommending my stream, or, like, you found me on Twitter, or but, like, I've had more people coming back on YouTube than I had on Twitch. And I feel like it's because, like, I was a new streamer on Twitch, and then people on Twitch were already part of, like, other communities, and then they stay with those communities on Twitch. But on YouTube, I feel like it's more, like, open. Like, you don't... Like, I like the community stuff and all that, but, like, I also don't think people, like... When people feel, like, so tied to something, they're not going to be open to going to, like, other streamers' channels. You can make a short of that. Yes, I did clip it. Because, so OP, when I found out I could save, I was just like, oh! That's literally what happened. Like, you can see it. You know the screen that shows the controls go so fast. Glad you caught it. Oh, priceless. I'm excited to go back and see it. Oh my god. Oh boy. Shoot, I've been around since early Twitch. Yes. Commander Shepard did find me in my early days of Twitch when I was playing Mass Effect. So, Commander Shepard, you were one of the ones that came back. But most people in, like, on Twitch didn't come back into my streams. You were one of the few people. I feel like since I've been on YouTube, more people have been coming back. Or maybe I'm just, like, a better streamer now, I don't know. I want to know about Kid's past. Not if you want to leave this place alive, you bloody don't. Kid's face turned red with anger. Your wish is my command, responded the mirror, ignoring Kid, who had grabbed me by the collar and was complaining... What is that word? Vociferously? Yeah, I don't know. The image in the mirror rippled, and the reflection of the statue shook. I am what you would call a regular viewer who keeps coming back, and besides, you're getting a better return on your streaming investment by streaming here on YouTube because people keep coming back. Yeah, and then, like, I think, like, so there's, okay, so Maddie, right, who was in here earlier. Maddie, I don't know if you're still in here, but Maddie, like, had mentioned that they watched my video from last night, right? And then, like, that wouldn't really happen on Twitch. And then Maddie came in here tonight, and then, I don't know, that's just, like, something that never happened to me on Twitch. Nobody was like, oh, I saw your VOD from yesterday and decided to come in today to, like, tell you what you missed in last night's stream, because, like, nobody, like, watches VODs on Twitch. But, like, anybody can find me anytime on YouTube, which is one thing I really like about YouTube, is that I don't have to be live for people to discover me. I've done 2 YouTube streams so far. Oh, nice. How did those go? And then the mirror's surface grew dark. The blackness gave way to a scene in Regiora. Shadowy figures appeared one by one. There was a young woman surrounded by several children. They were all dirty, their clothes ragged and worn, but they all laughed as they played together. And then the scene was drowned in flames, and a troop of armed men appeared. The men dragged the woman away, and the children vanished one by one into the inferno. Oh. Was this the orphanage? The focus shifted to one of the children, a girl. She was standing with her back to the flames, her tears leaving tracks through the soot on her face as she howled at the night sky. Aw, Kid! The girl's right eye was narrow like a cat's. Stop it! Kid screamed. The image in the mirror grew faint. Kid stared at the ground, her hands balled into tight fists. The room was dominated by silence. Yeah, this is awkward. Poor Kid. Worried about her, I broke the silence. Kid, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. She spun on her heel and made for the door. Wait, I cried and sheepishly darted after her. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. Okay, so maybe I can come back and ask the statue where the key is, because I could ask it. Last time I asked it about Madril's past, but nothing like that happened. Like, the room just, like, turned black and then, like, went back to normal, and that was it. And I was like, what? That didn't do anything. Okay, so I should probably save, right? I should save. Okay, we'll save in the third slot. We are going to use these saves to their full extent, now that I know how to save. Okay, so that's all I can discover here, I think. So we'll go back upstairs. Taking the corridor to the right would lead us to a dead end with a large door. Did I go that way? Oh, the main hall. Okay. So we have to go back to the terrace. Okay, let's go out onto the terrace. Because I know you can talk to Kid and Madril. We returned to the quiet terrace overlooking the garden, and then I talked to Kid. Alright, Serge, you're finally starting to learn how to get your hands dirty, ain't ya? I guess people really can change if they put in the effort. Kid's eyes shone with an impish playfulness. Well, she hadn't seen anything yet. We should go back inside. We're not here for fun, muttered Madril. Well, he said that, but... Okay, talk to Madril. You're doing well tonight, Serge. You're less green than when we first met. What I could see of Madril's face betrayed no emotion, but I thought I could feel the faintest of friendly gazes from beneath the mask. Right, dust yourself off and let's get moving. We've got work to do, said Kid. Okay, I think that's what they said last time. I don't know if they say anything different. Like, maybe as I move through the game. Okay, so I think I went left. So we'll go right this time. A short way along the corridor running from the right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door, again on our right. Kid pressed an ear against it, listening for any signs of life. Dead quiet, don't reckon there's anybody in there. Okay, so I think this is the storage room where we met that old lady. In we go. Kid stilled her breath and reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. It swung slowly open. What's this room supposed to be? Place is a dump. Kid had poked her head in through the door, taking a quick peek to see if there's anyone inside, and was disappointed by what she found. The room was large and littered with peculiar-looking machinery and knickknacks, all of which were covered in dust and had seemingly been dumped there haphazardly. Everything looked like it had been rusting for a very long time. The ends of the room were completely dark, and it was impossible to tell just how big it was, or even what the walls and floor looked like. It seemed the manor's inhabitants had turned the old clock tower into a makeshift storage space some time ago. I stepped warily inside. Leave that alone. I looked over toward Madril and saw a kid trying to pull something from the shadows. It was a huge sword that appeared to be very old indeed. You don't need that old bludgeon, it'll only get in the way. And as much of as an antique it is, it won't fetch much on the market in that condition. Yeah, I reckon it might, you know. There's plenty of collectors who just love old bits of junk. Well, some old bits of junk. Pouting, Kid left the sword where she stood. At least she put it back down gently. It was then that we heard a voice from the shadows. And what exactly are you doing here, I just about jumped out of my skin. Who's there? Kid and Magil turned to face the voice, ready for a fight. A wizened crone emerged from the shadows. She was hunched over and wore a hood draped over her face. I could tell at a glance that she wasn't just old, she was positively ancient. It's just some dottery old bag. What do you think you're doing, sneaking up on us like that? Kid's shoulders relaxed as the tension left her body. Magil, however, continued to give the woman a piercing stare. Oh-ho, what an impish little thing you are. Here to visit a friend, perhaps? Not in the dead of night, I suspect. The crow narrowed her eyes. Let's get a closer look at you. Ah, yes, you must be here to get your revenge on Lynx. How did she... My heart jumped. She seemed to know exactly who we were. We were in trouble. What if she sounded the alarm? We'd have to give up on the treasure and run for our lives. What were you going to do? So I played dumb last time, but then I told her the truth eventually, so I guess I'll just tell her the truth now. Defiantly tell her she was right. So what if we are? Kid narrowed her eyes right back at the crone. Oh, I think that's what she said last time when I finally admitted it. What's it to you if we're here to get our revenge on old Lynxy boy? You gonna do something about it? Hehehe, you never change, do you? The crone chuckled madly, her small frame shaking. You never change, do you? So she knows Kid. I think I was wondering if this was Luca last time, because she seemed to know Kid. I've been to 2 of Rebecca's streams. Yes, you have. Hopefully you will come to more. Ah, the boldness of youth. Yes, that's the spirit. You what? Kid looked at the crone, completely confused. I was no less mystified. What the heck are you on about? Oh, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, it was around then that an innocent young thief stole into the manor looking to singe Lord Lynx's whiskers. She couldn't have been much older than 10 now that I think of it. Okay, wait, it can't be Luca though, because she died. Shocked, my gaze turned to Kid. But what if it's like a time-traveling Luca? You know what I mean? A white glint had appeared in Kid's eyes, but her glare was like ice. It certainly felt as if the temperature in the room had suddenly dropped below freezing. With a chuckle, the crone continued her story, pretending not to have noticed the change in mood. She was an orphan, you know, came after Lynx to avenge a woman who'd loved her like her own daughter. But all the vengefulness in the world couldn't change the fact that she was only a little girl. She was no match for Lynx's men, sadly, and they quickly captured her. Oh, I guess that's how she knew Kid. She remembered Kid. Lynx is the kind of man that one would fear to have for an ally, never mind a foe. Had it not been for the timely assistance of a friend of hers, the girl certainly would have been executed. What? You would have executed like a 10-year-old? Like a 10, 11-year-old? I mean, I guess I didn't notice this last night, but yeah, like, Kid was like 10 or 11, and they would have executed her? Yeah, I'm on summer break for work, so I'll definitely be able to show up often. I appreciate that, Aaron. What do you do for work? Are you a teacher? Those are like the only people I know that have summer, like entire summer breaks. My sister's a teacher too, or well, she's like a daycare teacher, like a preschool daycare teacher. The way the people of the manor told it, the very shadows pitied the girl and rushed in to spirit her away. I wonder how much of the tale could be true. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure, of course. You can't win all the time. Okay, so I think what happened, because in Chrono Cross, Balthazar orchestrated this whole complicated plan, right? And so I think he did something to make sure Kid wouldn't die so that she could save Surge and do the whole thing of Chrono Cross. I mean, it's too much to go into now, so I'm just gonna say do whatever happened in Chrono Cross, because I mean, I'm still a little confused about what happened. But, you know, whatever happened in Chrono Cross. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure, of course. You can't win all the time. And sometimes, against all the odds, fate really can be foiled, and the clockwork of history sent into disarray. No, the ones I have no patience for are those who do not recognize their failure, or who fail and choose to give up as a result. The crone looked up from under her hood, stared Kid directly in the face, and grinned. Kid's anger faded, giving way to a dumbfounded expression. If you wish to steal the jewel from Lynx, if you truly wish to triumph, you will have to let go of a treasure of your own, Kid. For as long as you cling onto it, the hands of your clock will never move. They'll stay exactly where they came to. They'll stay exactly where they came to rest all those years ago. Who are you? Oh ho, me? Well, I'm just an old bag, like you said. I do apologize. I must have taken up a lot of your time with all my babbling. I'll leave you in peace. Oh, but before I go, the crone turned to face me. You seem to be injured, young man. If you wish, I can take a look at your wounds. With all the attention suddenly turned toward me, I panicked a little. Alright, please do. I'll manage. Kid? I mean, I don't think I'm injured, though. Right? Did I take any damage? Maybe Kid can tell me if I should get healed or not? Kid? I wasn't sure how to reply. Kid? I looked to Kid for an answer. She's asking you, not me. I'm not your bloody mom, came the reply. Oh, okay. I turned back to the old crone only to see she had vanished. Oh, okay. Kid couldn't believe her eyes. How could the crone just vanish? We won't find any answers here. Time to move on. I mean, I thought if I asked Kid, she would tell me like, oh yeah, like, you know, you're pretty badly injured, you could use it, or if she would be like, no, you know, you look okay, you don't need it, but okay, that didn't do anything for me. Yeah, I am. Oh, awesome. Preschool teachers are just as important, if not more. It is a confusing universe within Chrono Cross. Yeah, I don't remember Chrono Trigger being this confusing. Like, Chrono Trigger was complicated, but Chrono Cross is like, it's like convoluted. Like, it's so confusing. But yeah, like, yeah, preschool teachers are definitely important. I just said, I mean, I feel like I said like, oh, well, she's just a preschool teacher, but like, I just wanted to like differentiate that she's like a preschool daycare teacher. So she deals with like really young kids. So, what grade do you teach? Do you like it? Teaching is hard, isn't it? Because I've met some teachers and they say it's like really, really tough. Although they love it, like they love teaching. But a lot of the teachers I know have quit because they just said it's just like so difficult. Yeah, I guess you're right. We left the room. The door led back into the corridor, which stretched off to the left and right. Rightward lay the depths of the manor, while the way to our left led back to the terrace. Okay, so we'll keep going right. But first, we're gonna save! Continuing down the corridor, we came across a rather sturdy-looking door on our left. Okay, I think this is the treasure room. A little further on stood a stairway leading upward. Well, this door is clearly meant to keep something safe. If there ain't some kind of treasure behind it, me name ain't Kid. Sniff, sniff. Yep, that's the smell of cold, hard cash. All right, she muttered to herself as she began to inspect the door more closely. Okay, so we'll try to go inside. It's locked. Bat, what am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked. Kid had tried the door handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick. Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it, and the bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. It'll take more than me putting the boot in to get through all that. Okay, I think I was wondering this last night too, but how does she know? Like, how does she know it's got a magic barrier on it? And then, wouldn't Magil be the one to tell us if it's got a magic barrier? And then how does she know that there's two of them? You know, like, just because she can't, like, knock down the door? I mean, she's a 16-year-old, 95-pound girl. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to break down that door. I see. Then, unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside. Reckon I can handle a key hunt, especially if it's that idiot Lynx who's hidden it. If we can find his room, I'll sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. You just watch. Okay, well, we already did find his room. Okay, and then last night, this is when... So after I found the treasure room, that's when I could ask the mirror, like, hey, where's the key to the treasure room? First grader's been doing it for 4 years now. But yeah, with the shortage of teachers, it's been very difficult. She does heal you, but I've done it whenever I got healed back to back. And like you, is pretty much unless the second time. Oh, okay, yeah. Like, so, can I, like, go back to her and get healed if I get hurt? But you know what? You know what, though? It doesn't matter, because I can save now. So it doesn't matter if I can get healed, because I can just reload. Hopefully you can be in the next streams too, Aaron. Yes, we definitely hope to see you back again sometime. I hope you have fun here. So you teach first graders. That sounds like fun though, because so my oldest nieces, they're around like first grade age. They're both 5. So they're about to enter first grade. And they're a lot of fun now. Did you always want to be a teacher? Okay, let's continue on. The corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark, and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone of the steps was worn smooth with age, and I lost count of how many there were as we spiraled onward and upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why, but it felt as though we were marching to the gallows. When we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old heavy door looming in the silence. Oh right, this is the one where the ceiling comes down on us. All was deathly silent, and the still clammy air added to the sense of ominous apprehension. Something's very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door, Magil added, doing nothing to lift the mood. Ah, grow up, will ya? Kid shot back at us derisively. She was already examining the door. Well, it ain't locked and I don't hear anyone inside. Okay, I think it's a good time to save. True save points for the win, right? Like, do you notice how I'm saving like every 5 minutes now? Like, look at the timestamps on these saves. 1:14:24, 1:25:47, 1:29:33. I literally saved like 4 minutes ago. Okay, so I escaped the trap last time, but I'm gonna make some different choices here and see what happens. And if I die, I have saves! Kid tried the handle. The door opened and with a slow, heavy swing, revealed what lay beyond. It was a small, cylindrical room that appeared to be the inside of one of the stone towers. It was completely deserted and there were no windows. What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps. Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback. There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. A closer look at a bloody empty room? Pa, might as well, I guess. We did climb all them stairs. Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. I scanned the room and then noticed something on the floor. The flagstones were covered in dozens of narrow scratches, and in places there were thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away. A malice and sadness beyond imagining. There's something written here. Crouching in front of a wall, Magil was inspecting some brownish markings that looked like more of the same stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled them using blood magic? Kid had gone over to take a look. Looks pretty old, hard to read too. Some of it's been worn away. Let's see. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Acacian signet in this room. The Acacian signet? Okay, so I don't think that I got that last time. So maybe if I do some different choices here, I'll get it. I mean, I don't even know what it does for me. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. We jumped to our feet with a start. From above us, we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and floor began to tremble. What the hell's going on? Kid's eyes darted around the room as she desperately tried to figure out what was happening. The creaking sound from above continued, and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! We walked right into a bloody trap. Kid bit her lip. Well, it's not the first time, Kid. Kid. We've gotta do something fast. We don't have time to sit and think about this. Try to smash down the wall. What was I going to do? Surge? Kid's shriek rang in my ears and then... shunk! Ah! The edge of one of the descending blades sliced into my forehead. There was no time. What were we gonna do? Smash down the wall. Good idea. There's gotta be a hidden door or something here. Or something somewhere, yelled Kid. Panicked, we tried thumping the walls to see what we could find, but all we came up against was solid, unyielding stone. Okay, got sliced again. Okay, tried to stop the ceiling. Right, we need to stop the ceiling, yelled Kid. But how? I had no idea. Is there a hidden switch somewhere? Panicked, we brushed our hands against the floor and walls to see if anything had escaped our notice. Okay. Alright, so we're just gonna go through the door again, because this is what I did last time. So I chose this first and got out. But how do you get the signet then? So I'm just gonna skip all that because that's what I did last night. I love teaching first grade. For a while, as between being a teacher or in the medical field. Ultimately, medicine was just too much for me. Oh, okay, interesting. What did you want to do in medicine? And what do you mean it was too much for you? Like, yeah, I mean, I can definitely see medicine being hard as well. And it's a lot of school. I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to do, but like if you wanted to be a doctor, that's a ton of school. I knew this guy, I worked with this guy and he went to um like what not neurology, neuroscience. He majored in neuroscience and he wanted to be a neurologist, but he said it was going to take too much school, so he just quit. And well, I haven't talked to him in a really long time, but I work in IT. I'm a business analyst in IT services, and that's how we met at work. Like, so he like started working for an IT company. Is this some sort of execution chamber? Magil continued, seeming to be deep in thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acacia. Yeah, what was that all about? I asked. The Acacia Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. They were wiped out more than a decade ago, by the lord of this very manor, no less. Uh-huh, thanks for the history lesson, Madge. Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust. I think you get the signet from something or someone. Oh, okay. Because I didn't find it last night, but, you know, then again, I died last night. But we're not going to talk about it. Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights. Come on, we've got a lot more exploring left to do. Oh, and you know what, Aaron? So I'm a business analyst, so like that reminds me. I'm a business analyst, like that's my title at work, but what I do at work is I do a lot of like training. So I'm kind of like a corporate teacher. I develop a lot of like e-learning courses and like user guides. So I do a lot of like adult teaching, I guess. But I like it too. I like to like teach people. You know what I mean? I like to like help people and teach them and like show them how to do things. And I think it's because like I have gotten treated like I've been really stupid like so often that I don't want that to happen to other people because like there's all different types of intelligence, right? And you know, I could be good at something that you're not good at and vice versa, and it doesn't mean one of us is stupid, we're just different. But I've had so many people like treat me like I'm stupid that I want to like make, you know, if somebody's learning something new, I want to make it like a good experience for them. They shouldn't have to feel like they are stupid. So I like having that chance to like not make people feel like they're stupid because so many people have done it to me. Magil shrugged silently, and we headed back to the stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. We went down the stairs and continued straight ahead, eventually coming across a sturdy-looking door on our right. Okay, this is the treasure room. Corridor continued further back towards the terrace. Okay, so we have to keep going. There's nowhere else for us to go. What was this again? Oh, this was the storage room. Your job and career sounds awesome. I appreciate that, Ricardo. I really do like my job a lot. And I work for like a big IT company, so we always have like lots of customers and projects going on, and so there's so much I could get involved with, you know? Like I started in healthcare IT, and like it's like healthcare IT is great. Like there's always a lot of work. There's always like lots of interesting things to do. But I did it for like years and years, and now I finally got to like branch out to other industries, because my company is like a really big IT company, and we have projects going on in all different fields. And so I was recently just on a project for the Attorney General's office of Florida, and they were I mean, it still has to be IT services because we're an IT company, but like you know, we were in different fields because everybody's in IT now. Like everybody uses a computer now. So so the Attorney General office of Florida, they were switching to a new application. They were using like this really old application on their computers, and they decided it was time to go to a new one. So what I got to do was I had never even seen that application before. So it's also a chance for me to like learn new things, because usually I get asked to like learn something completely new and then teach it to other people. So I had to learn this entirely new application that I've never seen before, learn how to work it, learn like what a regular end user would do using it. And then I would write user guides and then design like e-learning courses. Those like courses people take on a computer for their work, and it's just like corporate required, so they just do like click like next. Like I do that. But I think it does, if you like actually like pay attention to the training, it will help you. But most people don't, and they're just click through. And so that project just ended, but I am being looked at for another similar project. I wanted to try being an RN, but couldn't make it past nursing school. Yeah, I mean, that sounds difficult. So my college was like full of nursing majors, because it was like a big school for nursing, and a lot of them changed their major like halfway through. It was really hard for them. Hey, that's important. Adults need to be taught. Yes, they do, lady boss. True that. Some people are really mean, and instead of feeling like they want you to learn, sometimes it feels like they are flexing just how much they know compared to others. Yeah, and then that definitely happens, and then there's other times where people have just like done their job for so long that they just like don't even remember what it feels like to not know, or they just like they're just so used to doing their job and then having other people around them that also do the same job that they like forget that not everybody knows their job. And so like at work, plenty of times I've asked a question and people I work with will be like, oh my God, Rebecca, like, how could you not know this? And I'm like, it's because it's not my job. Like, that wasn't my job to know. It's your job to know. And so, some people don't even do it intentionally. And then other people, they get the same question over and over and over, and they get like burned out on being asked the same question so many times that when the next person asks, immediately they just get like really annoyed because they're like, oh my God, I answered this question like 100 times before. So And that, you know, it can be really hard when you get like very jaded and burned out on like the same question over and over. It can be really hard. Like I understand it can be really hard to not just kind of like snap and be like, okay, well I answered this question like so many times. But I'm like so like aware of it now that I like try so hard to like teach people in a constructive way so that they don't feel like stupid and so that they're in like a positive environment, because that's how they'll learn the best. That's how I learn the best. The room was completely silent and there's no sign of life. Hello? Any little old ladies in here? No kindly old dears who know more than they're letting on, lurking in the shadows? Come out, wherever you are. Oi, lady, show yourself. The silence spoke volumes. Okay, so I guess I couldn't get healed. But I mean, I didn't know that she would just disappear. Okay, we'll go left. Okay. I'm gonna see if Kid and Magil say anything different. Exactly, like right now I have been doing an internship for 2 months and everyone in the office does their job super fast, but fortunately they all have been patient with me, taking a little more time. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, especially like when you know somebody's new at something, you definitely want to take the chance. Or like I definitely want to take the chance. Not everybody does, but you know, I definitely want to take the chance to make it like a positive experience for them. Because like I can't tell you how long like I thought I was just like a stupid person because that's how I was treated. Like people will become the way that people treat them. You know what I mean? Like if you treat somebody like they're stupid for so long, they'll start believing it, and then that's how they'll act. Kind of like, so if anybody is a Batman fan, I'm a huge Batman fan. If you know the character Jason Todd was just like, I find him very extremely tragic because everybody, like, he wasn't like an evil person. He was just like, I mean, he was like very impulsive. He had some anger issues, but he wasn't evil. He like tried to be a good person. He tried to like help, and he tried to like prove his worth, but everybody just like treated him like he was a screw up so much that that's what he became. And then he became a villain because like that's how people treated him, and that's how what he became. Okay, so she said the same thing. You seem to be hurt. Don't push yourself. If I wasn't careful from here on out, I was going to be in serious danger. Okay, so I gotta find some way to heal. I mean, maybe we'll find a random encounter and I'll get, like, some meat I can eat and then I can heal. Okay, so I need to go, now I need to go back to Lynx's room and ask about the key. And also, hearing that you learn new software to teach it to others is something that makes me understand why you played Chrono Cross so well. You are good at adapting to new things. Oh, I really appreciate that, Ricardo. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. Okay, so that was the clock tower. Okay, continue on. Okay, that's the treasure room. So I need to go downstairs. Or do I need to go, is it upstairs? I mean, it's by some stairs. Wait, no. This is the trap. The ceiling trap. Okay, do I need to go left? Even though they are super nice with me, sometimes I do feel stupid at my job or just not good enough. So I can imagine how bad you must have felt when they were being mean and unfair to you. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just like eventually, like, you just think you are that person, you know? You just like think that you just eventually like think that you're stupid and like you can't do anything right. But I mean, I think it's normal to like feel that way sometimes, but if you get treated like that all the time, then eventually you'll like feel like you just are that person. But I think everybody feels like unsure or stupid at their job sometimes, as long as, you don't feel that way all the time. Who's your favorite Batman? Like out of the Batman movies? After a short walk down the corridor, the terrace came into view. Okay, so follow the corridor. Okay, the intersection. This is where I need to be. So I want to go down the stairs. Yeah, I think Lynx's room was downstairs. Yeah, here's his room. No. That's Riddle's room. We need to keep going down. This is his room. I knew he wouldn't be in here. I knew he wouldn't be here. We started looking for any signs of the key to the vault. Well, the mirror's covered back up now. Maybe she can help, said Kid, thrusting her chin toward the mirror. Okay, I'm gonna save. Okay, so you know what? It's been a good, like, 20 or almost 20 minutes since I saved. So I think that's pretty good. Which movie is your favorite of all the Batman movies? Oh boy. That's really hard to say because they're like really different, you know, like the older Batman movies, like the ones with Val Kilmer and Michael Keaton, those are more kind of like cartoony and silly and like comic booky. So I really like those. I really like appreciate those for what they are. And then like, the Christian Bale movies were more serious. They were darker. And then like, you know what? And to be honest, like Batman and Robin, the George Clooney one, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna say it. I enjoyed it. So you all heard it here live on stream and it's gonna be recorded forever. I enjoyed that movie. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. I think probably The Dark Knight was the best Batman movie. And you know what? I'm also gonna say, I don't think Ben Affleck was a bad Batman. I thought he was a decent Batman. Although, I never saw Justice League, but like Batman vs Superman, or was it Superman vs Batman? Whatever the movie was, whatever order that movie was. I thought that people were just exaggerating about how bad it was, and it was really bad. It was really bad. But I thought Ben Affleck made a decent Batman. What is your desire? Okay, so I remember that I could do different choices here. Can I save here? Ooh, I can. Okay, so we're gonna save here because we're gonna choose some different choices here. We're gonna ask about kids' measurements. I feel like this will be funny. I want to know kids' measurements, I blurted out. The wind was immediately knocked out of me by one of Kid's trademark kicks. Look, the mirror is showing us something, muttered Magil thoughtfully, pointing at it. Kid who was sitting on my back and bashing my head into the ground. Wow, she's rather violent. Stopped what she was doing and glanced at the mirror. I looked up as well. Watery ripples flowed from the center of the glass, and then a series of numbers began to float up from below. Wow, she really showed me her measurements. 5275. I enjoyed those too, right? Like, I mean, it's really hard to compare. Like I said, it's really hard to compare, like, the older Batman movies to, like, the Christian Bale ones because they have such a different tone to them. But I think for what they are, I mean, I really enjoyed, like, the older Batman movies, like the one with Michael Keaton and the Val Kilmer. I thought those were really good. They're just different, you know? They're just very, like, comic booky. While I was reading the numbers, Kid mashed her hand into my face. Who told you to look, creep? I had no idea what the figures even meant, though. But, you know, so, but, like I say, like, The Dark Knight, I think was my favorite because, like, obviously Heath Ledger as the Joker was, like, amazing. But I just really liked, like, the ideas in that movie and, like, the ideas that, like, the Joker presented. Kind of like when he was saying, like, you know, no, like, if you just, like, tell people the plan, nobody will panic. Like you tell everybody a hospital is gonna blow up, and it blows up, and nobody panics. And then he did that whole thing with the boats and, like, seeing if, like, citizens and prisoners would, like, blow each other up. I just think, like, the ideas presented in that movie were, like, very, like, they were, like, really good. They were very, like, philosophical, and they made for, like, a lot of, like, analyzing, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but I love, like, analyzing things. I love, like, researching and analyzing things. Rangers win 6-2. Nice! 3 wins away from Stanley Cup. Nice! Congratulations! Kid seemed confused as well. It was up to Magil to explain it in his usual deadpan manner. Her height, shoe size, and ring size. Ring size? Wow. Was that it? I felt so cheated. Wait, that's not what I meant, I started. But the mirror had fallen silent and didn't seem to be listening anymore. The spirit of the mirror appears to have moved on, muttered Magil. Really? Huh, what a waste, I grumbled. Kid glared at me, her arms folded. Well, now you know me measurements, you won't have any trouble finding me some nice new clothes, a pair of boots, and a pretty ring to say sorry when we get out of here, eh? You owe me, and you'd better not forget it. I'd really gone and dropped myself in it this time. Anyway, Mirror's not listening anymore. Reckon we're done here. Sighing, I left the room, already trying to work out how much of my cut I wasted before we even stole anything. Okay, so how do you find the key then? Okay, so I'm gonna reload that, and we're gonna ask where Lynx is. And then after that, we're gonna reload it again and ask the right question. But, like, so, yeah, how do you find where the key is then if you can't ask the mirror? Because she disappears after one question. Your Boston Bruins couldn't beat the Hurricanes in first round, Rebecca, but my Rangers did in second round. Well, congratulations. Yeah, I mean, well, the Celtics are in the finals, but Red Sox are not doing good. Okay, well, I'll ask where Lynx is. Where the hell is Lynx? Kid asked, her eyes narrowing suspiciously. The surface of the mirror rippled with a gentle eddy. Slowly, letters began to take form. What's this say? I humbly request that you go and find him yourself. What? How does that help? That's cute. You ever wonder what it's like to be shattered? Spat Kid, glaring at the mirror. It said nothing in response, as if pretending it couldn't hear. The spirit of the mirror appears to have moved on. Speak if you wish, but it will not hear you, muttered Magil. Fine then, let's go somewhere else. With that, we left Lynx's room. Wow, that was extremely anticlimactic. Climactic. Okay, however you say that, you know what I mean. Should have just asked where the key was, because those other... Well, asking about kids' measurements was pretty fun. But asking where Lynx was, like, that was just stupid. True, you're Celtics, but they won't beat the Warriors. Curry, Clay, and Draymond are the best. So, you know, I do have some family that is rooting for the Warriors, so they would probably agree with you. Okay, ask where the key is. You know where the key to the vault is. The mirror's reflection rippled and changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. A deep, sonorous voice spoke. You will find the key in the place I have revealed, the study. It is inside a book with a purple cover in the furthest bookshelf from the door. The image of the study vanished from the mirror, and the voice went silent. It appears the spirit has left for another mirror, commented Magil. To the study, then. As I made to leave the room, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Beware, he knows. Was it the voice of the mirror again? What did it mean? Hurry up, or we're leaving you behind, Surge, called Kid from outside. Flustered, I rushed after her. Wait, so Magil and Kid didn't hear that? Like, shouldn't you tell them, Surge, that you heard a voice saying, beware, he knows? Or like, no, that's not important. Well, I'm a Knicks fan, so I want Celtics to lose. Oh, okay. I actually wanted the Heat to win that series versus Celtics, but they were so close. Oh, okay. Okay, so we need to go upstairs, I think? I forgot where the treasure room was. Wait, no. I don't need to... I need to go to the study. Towards the study. Go inside. Where'd the mirror say it was again? Okay. Oh my god, there's so many choices here. I mean, I know which one it is. It's the book with the purple cover in the far bookcase. But I wonder what happens if I just pick, like, a random one. I think it was supposed to be the one with a green cover in the nearest bookcase. Alright, let's see. Seeming to take my word for it, Kid made for the case in question. Right, this is the one. Green cover, green cover. Aha, this has gotta be it. I mean, like, do we really think there's only gonna be one book with a green cover? Like, look how many books there are. Kid picked out a book from the lowest shelf. Magil and I watched as she flicked through the pages. Her right eye narrowed like a cat's as she read through the arcane script, which meant nothing to me. Let's see here. The goblin lived alone in the crumbling manor, abandoned by its lord. But it kept the faith and dutifully protected the ancient building, waiting for its lord to return. Okay. Today was no different from any other. It stood at its post outside the door, morning star in hand. Before long, however, it was overcome by sleepiness and closed its eyes. It thought it would only nap for a moment, but its sleep would prove to be eternal. What the hell am I reading? You think this is a joke, Surge? As if I wrote the thing. Where's the real book? Oh, I wonder if you choose all of these if they, like, read different things. Okay, let's do the blue cover in the nearest bookcase. Trusting my memory, Kid made for the nearest set of bookshelves. So we're looking for a blue book, found it. Kid picked out a book from the top shelf. Magil and I watched as she flicked through the pages. The day of my wedding to the king has finally come. My heart grieves, but I must go. If only I could have been yours forevermore. Tremendous tears welled up in the young elephant's eyes as she spoke. The love and tenderness that filled her heart made the pain of their parting all the more bitter. It felt as if it would tear in two. Kid's voice began to tremble and trailed off. She went quiet, and as I looked at her, I could see tears welling up in her eyes. She noticed me looking at her and slammed the book with a start and looked away. Wipe that smirk off your face, Surge. Where's the real book? Okay, so they all do say different things. Okay, let's go through all of them. Just for funsies. Red cover in the nearest bookcase. Okay, so the description of her getting the book is all the same. I took everything from the woman, everything. I scattered her belongings across the room, breaking whatever came to hand. I did this while humming my favorite ditty and dancing my favorite dance. I had all the time in the world, and I was only getting started, slowly ripping pages from her favorite books and casting them into the fire. Vile, what the hell is this? I was overcome with disgust by the contents of that creepy book. A shiver ran down my spine. And you, Serge, what do you think you're playing at, making me read that filth? Where's the real book? I wasn't too happy about taking the blame for contents of a book I'd never even seen before, but it couldn't be helped. Okay, wait a minute. Which one did I just do? The stricken Neo-Epoch was flung into stasis, making an emergency jump without deploying phase shift. Major engine damage, output is at 30% of operating norms. 6 charges remain in the anti-particle cannon. Shields effective in 16 sectors. L-spin response on the starboard stern. Enemy vessels incoming. Gatto, hurry with the awakening! Skirmishers, make ready for our last stand. What the hell is this? It's got nothing to do with what we're looking for. Is this another one of your stupid jokes, Serge? As if I could have predicted what the book said. Okay, so we did the purple cover with the near bookcase. Okay, what did the red one say again? Okay, yeah, alright. This was whoever was in this lady's house breaking her stuff. And destroying her books. Okay. So it mentioned the epoch. It did. Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a reference to Chrono Trigger. It must have been. But it's called the Neo-Epoch. They called it the Neo-Epoch. Okay, green cover in the near bookcase. I think I might have done this one. Okay, yeah, this was the first one I did because I just was picking a random book to see if it, or just to see what it said. Okay, so we'll do blue cover in the far bookcase. At his mere touch, her breath quickened. She gazed into his eyes as he grabbed her hand. Sparks flew wherever he touched her, and soon she was overwhelmed. Yes! Kid had a face like thunder, and her cheeks were becoming more and more red. Oh boy, I embarrassed Kid. Hey Serge, think fast. Her fist lashed out toward me like a whip. Crunch. My head was filled with exploding stars. Stop buggering about, Serge. Where's the damn book? I'm trying my best here. Feeling the pressure, I racked my brain to remember what the mirror had told us. I think Kid likes Serge too. She's just acting really immature. Like, you know when little kids like each other and they just like tease them all the time? That's how she's acting. This, of course, explained in Hume's special theory of nihil space, and the relationship between nihil space and time at its core can be described by leveraging Jacobson's work, development of the special theory of nihil space and generalized research of its particular issues, which research Jacobson himself later summarized in his general theory of nihil space. What? The hell was that all about? Sounded like some weird foreign magic to me. You mean science? You got a funny sense of humor, Serge. You know damn well this isn't what we're looking for. Look, I'm trying here, I thought to myself. Where's the real book? I am not trying, Serge, you know that. Okay, so we know it's the purple cover in the far bookcase, so we're gonna skip that one. We'll go for the green cover and the white cover, and then we will get the key. My lady, no, we can't. I have a husband. Leave him, my lady. My love for you is unyielding. I may only be a mere commoner compared to your husband, but the nobility of my love for you transcends all. Oh, Serge. What? Serge, this means something to you? Because it don't mean nothing to me. Kid stared daggers at me from the sides of her eyes. You tricked me, you little twerp. It wasn't a trick, I was trying my best. It was at a solitary manor on a distant island in a stormy sea that it happened. A series of bizarre murders, all taking place within closed rooms. The criminal employed a timetabling trick that made it seem as if the dead bodies were in fact walking around. What does timetabling mean? But like many criminals, he was undone by a fatal blunder. For you see, dear reader, he had never planned on encountering me, the world's most meticulous timetable obsessive. What? Kid's eyes slowly turned to me. You tricked me, Serge. This isn't the book we're after. I hadn't realized how hard it could be to remember a short conversation. We know where it is, Serge. The pages were hollowed out, and hidden inside was an old key decorated with strange symbols. Nailed it! Nice one, Serge! Kid snatched the key from inside of the book. Right, time to finally get a look at this treasure. Having got what we came for, we left the study. Okay, so now we're almost at the point we got to last night. Okay, so we're gonna save here. Alright, I don't remember where it was. Okay, so there's the door. Okay, but I'm gonna go out on the terrace for a minute, and then we'll go back. How long have we been doing this together now, You better shape up or we're leaving you behind. Well, Kid's cold stare pierced through me like a javelin made of ice. Talk about harsh. She didn't need to go that far. Okay, I guess I, annoyed her. Okay, so we'll go back to the treasure room now. Okay, so we can open the door now. So you know what? In the original one on the Satellaview, if you couldn't save, how are you supposed to get through this? Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished as various magical barriers were dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green, every color under the sun. And then all was quiet and the darkness of the manor returned. Right, we're in. With a creak, the heavy door gently swung open. As soon as I saw what was inside, I gave a gasp. Kid stepped inside. Whoa, we've hit the mother lode. Out of the darkness loomed a veritable mountain of gold, silver, priceless works of art, and exquisite trinkets. Kid looked as if she was on the verge of drooling at the sight of it all, but what thief wouldn't have been? After all, this was the kind of hoard that few people would ever come across in their lifetime. The smallest fraction of this vast amount of riches would have seen even the most careless spendthrift set for life. Okay, so see, this is what I was saying last night, Kid could have taken, a couple of coins or something. Our goal is the frozen flame. Ignore the rest. Madrill spoke with an icy dedication to our mission. He had not even batted an eyelid at the sight that greeted us. Yeah, I know. She was disappointed, of course. But she soon set about scanning the room for the object of our hunt. Wait, is that it? Look on the pedestal over there. I turned to see what Kid was pointing at. There it was, a small yet perfectly formed jewel that gave off a pale red light. A jewel that looked like a flickering fire suspended in time. A frozen flame. Silently, Madrill walked toward the pedestal. I called out, "Hurry, we don't have much time." Wait, we have to be careful. Hurry, we don't have much time. Because I said, wait, we have to be careful last time. Quickly, Madge, I whispered. Kid urged him on too. There's no time to waste. We gotta nab it now and then find Lynx. If you insist. Madrill gently raised his hand toward the frozen flame. Suddenly, a siren rang out. The room was flooded with light, and metal bars slammed down in front of the door. Metallic parrots in the four corners of the room suddenly came to life, flapping their wings and screeching. Rock! Thieves! Thieves! Damn it, we'd walked right into a trap. Kid quickly turned to me. Serge, this is your bloody fault for telling him to hurry up. What the? So did you. Yeah, it's all my fault. So did you. Yeah, whatever. It's not like you weren't trying to get him to hurry up yourself, I muttered to myself. What? You say something, Serge? Kid glared at me. You know, Kid is not very nice in this game. Even less so than Chrono Cross. No, nothing at all. I shook my head madly, hoping to avoid her wrath. Madrill cut in. If you're quite finished, we had best apply ourselves to finding a way out. The guards will be here any moment now. He'd barely finished speaking when I heard voices in the distance. Which way? Which way? The parrots, to the vault, the vault. The manor guards were coming. Kid dived behind a pile of gold coins. Find somewhere to hide. In a panic, I looked around the room. There was a large chest sitting wide open next to a pillar. I rushed to empty it out, then plunged in headfirst and closed the lid. Captain! There's no sign of anyone in there, no sign. Strange, peculiar. No one has ever escaped before. None have ever fled the mousetrap's clutches, none. I gently pushed up the lid of the chest and peeked through the gap. There were 5 goblins wearing suits of armor, unlocking the gate and about to make their way inside. One of the goblins looked around the room, jerking his neck as he peered into the shadows. Captain, what if it actually was a mouse this time? Chef was grumbling about mouses the other day, Captain. A mouse? A rodent? A rat? Would a teeny tiny thing like that really have sprung the trap? Replied a stocky, plump-looking goblin, who must have been the captain. He didn't seem convinced. That was when I heard a strange but oddly familiar sound from a corner of the room. Squeak, squeak! It was coming from where Kid was hiding. Startled, the troop of goblins stopped and looked at each other. For a moment, none of them spoke. Eventually, the goblin captain rubbed his chin through his jowls and offered his thoughts. Mouses? I'm sure Chef was complaining about cats. Meow, meow. That voice again. Again, silence. The goblins only looked at each other. Funny you should say that, Captain. Way I heard it, it wasn't mouses or cats, it was a hecarim. An awkward silence followed. In my mind's eye, I could see Kid racking her brains to work out what a hecarim was. I smell a rat, by which I mean a thief. Following the captain's lead, the guards reached for their weapons, and then... Heck! Heck, heck! Heck, 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 heck! Hecka, heck, heck! Hecka, heck, heck! Ran and ran, hecka ran! Listen, it really is a hecarim by heck, that proves it! The goblin guards grinned and nodded to each other. Cheeky little devil, surprised me there. Let's get out of here, boys. The goblins filed out of the vault. I breathed a sigh of relief, and then they came charging back in with a mighty roar. There's no such thing as Heckrons. But it was a good try, kid. Okay, so this is where I died. What, you sneaky little buggers, roared Kid, leaping out from behind the pile of gold coins. You're one to talk, thief. Brandishing their weapons menacingly, the goblins moved slowly forward, forcing Kid into a corner. I quietly eased open the lid of the coffer and slipped out. Can't leave you anywhere, can I muttered to myself. I knew Kid could handle herself, but I didn't fancy her odds against a whole troop of heavily armed goblins. For a moment, I wasn't sure what to do, but then I made up my mind. I had to save Kid. I had to take the opportunity to escape. Okay, so... Can I save here? Okay, I can. So, I'm gonna see what happens if I try to escape. I don't, want to do that. The good thing to do would be to save Kid, but I can reload, because I can save now. Oh nuts, what was I going to do? The guards looked even meaner than your average goblin, and they clearly weren't taking any prisoners. I decided that I was better off leaving Kid and Magil to it, while I snuck outside and kept an eye on things from a safe distance. The goblins had left the door wide open, luckily for me. I tiptoed quietly toward it, but just then... Oi, Surge! Gulp. Where do you think you're going, mate? You ain't running away to try and save your own sorry hide, are ya? I trembled as I slowly looked behind me and saw all of the goblins staring back at me with their beady little eyes. I suppose she was never the type to nobly sacrifice herself in order to let a friend escape to safety. Which meant it was time for me to face the music. I drew my knife from my belt and turned to face the goblins. Ah, humans are so stupid! The goblin captain chuckled and licked his teeth. Yep, this one's got a death wish all right. Okay, so... I'm gonna reload that because I don't want to look bad by choosing the escape route. Okay, so I guess it doesn't start right at the choice. Okay, save Kid. Right, I had to save Kid. There was no way I was going to abandon a friend in need. I don't know why, but I chuckled when you said heck a lot, and probably because it sounded silly. Even if it meant facing off against a group of 5 goblin guards, I'd find a way to come out on top, I hoped. I drew the knife from my belt and leapt into the middle of the room. Hey, Snofferbrainses, over here! The goblins all turned to look at me at the same time. 10 beady, cruel little eyes all staring daggers at me. Fool, in a hurry to die, are we? I gulped and wondered if making a run for it might have been a better plan of action after all. Ah, humans are so stupid! The goblin captain chuckled and licked his teeth. Yep, this one's got a death wish all right. Why else would he be so stupid as to come after Lord Lynx's treasure? Ha, that's a first. Being called dumb by a bloody goblin. Try acting tough when you're crying to your mom later on. Judging by Kid's response, she wasn't feeling massively threatened. Does she ever? And you tell her it was Kid who kicked your teeth in. So you're Kid, are you? The sneaky little slippery little thief we've heard so much about. The goblin narrowed his eyes. Hehehehe. Lord Lynx will be thanking me from now until my retirement when I bring him your head on a silver platter. The goblin captain pulled his morning star from his waist and started swinging. You don't know who you're messing with. We ain't no ordinary goblins, sweetheart. We're Lord Lynx's elite guard, the goblins that gobble other goblins. That's right, the Gob Squad. I'll quit shooting your mouth off and let me stick a boot in it. And with that, Kid launched into a lightning-fast spinning kick. Her boot connected with the side of a goblin's head with a crack, sending the creature tumbling to the ground. Get him, lads! The boy looks scrawny. Start with him. That's rude. The goblin captain spun the heavy metal ball of his morning star in the air. Glorious gob strike! Aye aye! The goblins charged across the room in response to their captain's command. Gob strike incoming. Okay, dodge. Swiftly dodge the attack. Okay, hit my shoulder. Trying not to lose sight of where the next blow might be coming from. That's a spirit, scrawn bag. I ain't done with you yet. Kid lashed out with a lightning-fast kick. There's more where that came from. Please have mercy. The stricken goblin had collapsed to the floor, its eyes wide with fear. This isn't a game, Surge. Watch yourself, will ya? Another goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away! With a growl, it sent its morning star swinging from above. Rolled away, jumped up for a counterattack. No, I wasn't going to make it. A heavy iron ball came crashing down through the air, aimed squarely for my head. Like a fool, I jumped to try to avoid it, and then I was seeing stars. Before I knew it, I was crawling on the floor. I was finished. Okay. I died. So I only take 2 hits before I die. And I like how it says, and that's how I died. Like he's still writing in his journal. Good thing we saved! Okay, so I'm already injured, so I can only take like 2 hits before I die. But like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just, I just have to like choose something and just like hope it works out every time because there's nothing I can do. There's no like strategy here. Like, it's just random if it works or not. Okay, let's see if we can save here, so next time we can at least be a little further in. Yep, we can still save here. Dodge. Okay, so like that time I dodged. Another of the goblins. Oh my god. There's a fly in here. There's so many bugs lately. Just flew in my face. Another of the goblins hesitated for just a moment, only to be run through by a spear of pure lightning conjured up by Magil. The goblin let out a blood-curdling howl as electricity coursed through its body. It clutched awkwardly at its chest where it had been struck, its face contorted with agony and horror. Magil's cape fluttered, and his piercing eyes stared coldly at his victim. None who defy me shall escape my wrath. That's definitely a Magus line. Another goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away. With a growl, it sent its morning star. Okay, jump up for a counterattack. Tackled the goblin head on. Okay, that didn't work. What? I died? I only took 1 hit and I died. Well, it's a good thing that we can save, huh? Okay, try dodge. Okay. Didn't work that time. Okay, roll away this time. Morningstar crashed into the flagstone, sending sparks flying. That was a close shave. I made good my escape by rolling further, clumsily putting some distance between myself and my attacker. Okay, dodge. Okay, another goblin got struck by lightning by Magil. Oh my god. It's flies. Will not stop bothering me. Another goblin. Okay. I don't know. Roll away. Parry. Oh my god. I cannot imagine trying to beat this game without saves. Yeah, and I mean, like, from what I've looked at and some other people here have looked at, it seems like the original one didn't have saves. But like I went in here already injured, so that's why I'm dying so much. But like it's annoying because there's nothing I can do. I try to choose something and I have to choose something and just hope it works out because like there's no strategy. It's just like a percentage of what will happen. Okay, Magil conjured up a black wind which surged forth like a shearing tempest. How does a human know a spell like that? Who are you? The goblin was quickly silenced as the rushing winds tore through it, and it collapsed to the floor with a final shriek. Okay, so this is another reason why I think it's Magus, is because he knows magic. Magil looked down at his victim, his expression unchanged. Okay, let's try counterattacking here. Okay. I feel like the counterattack never works, so maybe I just have to keep dodging and rolling away. Okay, let's just try dodging. Like, we'll just keep trying to dodge and roll away. Okay, so every time I successfully dodge, then Magil just like takes care of the goblin. But whenever I try to attack, it never works, and then I die. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, this is like not working at all. I might have to go back and reload one of my other saves and try to heal. Okay, let's try one more time. But I mean, like, I don't have, like, There was no, like, option. There's no, like, chance for you to heal before this. I guess unless you get into, like, a random encounter. But it seems it doesn't work right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, like, maybe it's, like, a 50-50 chance of, like, what happens. Like, if it works or not. Let's try parrying this time. Okay, that one worked. Okay, so Magil got another one with lightning. Try rolling away. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna try reloading one of my other saves. And, like, I think the only way you can heal is if you, like, get into a random encounter and win that, and then, like, you get some food that heals you. I don't even know if I have the key in this save. Okay, so this is an encounter, a random encounter that I had before. The skeleton. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing that I did before, so I'm just gonna wait for it to approach and then attack. Okay, so it played out exactly the same way it did last time. I was a mess. My body was screaming with pain, and I felt like I might pass out at any moment. If I took much more punishment from Lynx's minions, my night was going to be over pretty soon. Well, that was another fine bloody mess. What did we even bring you for, Surge? What? But we just won that encounter. Kid's cold stare pierced through me like a javelin made of ice. What? So I didn't even get healed. Okay. Let's try that again. Because I guess I thought the way to get healed was to, like, do a random encounter and then beat it. But it didn't give me a heal that time. So maybe getting a heal from a random encounter, that also, like, is some sort of, like, percentage of if you get it or not. Oh, me, boy. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna try and do another encounter here. So we can try to heal. Okay, so here's the other random encounter. And I don't know, like, why it told me, like, oh, if I get damaged anymore, I'm going to die. But, because, like, I didn't even get hurt in this encounter. What? Okay, so, like, they're not even giving me a heal. Okay, so I guess I just have to go back to my other game and just hope that all my choices work out. Oh my god. What? Okay, so I feel like the percentage of it working is low. Because I've been through this so many times. Okay, so that's one goblin. Two. So I think there's 5 goblins. Oh my god! I mean, you know what the worst thing about this is that, like, there's nothing I can do. Like, there's no strategy. It's just... like, you just have to hope that whatever percentage that it has of working, like, that you fall within that percentage. I smashed my skull into the goblin's grim visage as hard as I could. A shock ran through my neck and shoulders like I'd been brained with a hammer, but it was worth it. Teeth and spittle flew left and right as the great ugly brute rolled stunned across the floor. Wow. I did not expect Surge to do that. I feel like that would hurt him, like you headbutted a goblin. It's frustrating, it really is. And it's just, like, the most frustrating part is, like, there's nothing you can do. Like, at least when I was playing Chrono Cross, I could strategize. Oh my god. I mean, I guess this is supposed to be difficult, like it's supposed to be like a boss fight. But I mean, with it just like being random, like, then it's just ridiculous. Just frustrating. Okay, so it seems like dodging the first attack does better because I don't think I've ever been able to do the attack on the first one. Really? I mean, I think I could get through it if I wasn't, like, injured. But it's like, it didn't, like, the game doesn't even give me any healing. I mean, I only need to get through 5 of them. Oh my god. I think you should dodge the first time and try to attack the following times. Okay, I will try that. Yeah, and maybe it's like a stacking percentage, like if you dodge the first time and then maybe like the percentage goes up and if you try to attack. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I mean, it's not like the game tells you either. It doesn't tell you how this works. And see what happens. Okay. Okay, dodge. And that didn't even work. Okay, now attack. Okay. Got that one. Okay. Nope. Oh my god. Like, I don't... I think I'm just, like, never going to beat this game. Like, at first, like, I didn't know how to save, and now I can't even, like, get through this next part. It seems it's also random. I think so, too. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I think, like I was saying, I think if I had more health, that I could, like, that I'd be able to get through it, but, I mean, they don't give me any healing, so I don't know, like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get through this part. I mean, like, the only opportunity for healing that I remember was the old lady in the storage room. And then she, like, I said something else, and then she, like, just disappeared without even giving me the option to try and heal again. And then, like, the last time I played, there were these random encounters where, like, if I won, I got healed. But when I reloaded my other save and tried doing random encounters, like, I didn't get a heal, so I don't know what this game is doing. Oh my god, what? Okay. I'm gonna just look this up because this is just, like, stupid. Oh boy, game facts. I haven't seen game facts in a while. Okay, yeah, so there's just, like, no strategy. Like, you just have to hope that all your choices work out. I mean, who thought that would be fun? Like, yeah, let's design it so that there's nothing the player can do. Yeah, it's completely random. I just looked it up. It's completely random. So I guess we'll just hope I get through it. Long live Lord Lynx, glory to the Gob Squad. With these final words, the goblin collapsed. Wow, that sucks. Not fun at all. I totally agree. That was the last of them. Oh, well, we got through it, though. We made it. Alright, so if you just do it enough times. Oh my god. But that was not fun. I really liked the game up until then. Ha, piece of cake, said Kid, putting a brave face on things as she wiped the sweat from her brow with her arm. And then she stopped and looked at me. And then we stopped and we saved. Surge, that was pretty dumb getting the goblins to come after you like that. You think you're some hero off to save the princess? Not with those twig arms. Still, you've got guts, I'll give you that. Never a bad look. She gave a gentle giggle. Ah, seems Lynx has got the better of us. We turned to Magil. What do you mean? Asked Kid. We nabbed the frozen flame, didn't we? Not quite, it was a fake. But bait, to be precise. The red jewel in Magil's hand suddenly splintered and fell to pieces with a shattering sound. God, that rat bastard. Of course he wouldn't do this fair and square. Fair and square? Strange words coming from Kid. It seems that our quest for the frozen flame continues. Yeah, but before we get back to it... This bunch of Drongos said they're Lynx's elite guard, right? But bet they've got some nice loot on them. With that, she started unceremoniously rummaging through the fallen captain's pockets. She was like a hyena sniffing for scraps. Hello, hello, what's this? She'd found an odd metal plate. It resembled an open hand and was covered in runes. Reckon this might open some other magic door somewhere. We'll never know when it might come in handy. Either way, finders keepers. The plate vanished into Kid's pocket. What? How does a plate fit into her pocket? Finally, I know, right? Looks like there's nothing else worth taking unless you count pocket lint and bits of string. Wait, why would the captain have a plate in his pocket? She rose to her feet and looked around the room. You know, it's a real shame to leave the rest of all this loot just sitting here unloved. Suppose we can come back for it whenever. Oh, okay. Yeah, like I would come back here ever. Kid turned to face us and flashed a grin. Alright, lads, get the move on. It ain't gonna be dark forever. That hand-shaped plate is our only clue for now, muttered Magil, seemingly to himself. We left the vault, resuming our quest for the frozen flame. Okay. Save. Okay. Maybe go to the main hall, since we haven't been able to do anything there yet. Oh, is this the... I think this is the clock tower. Maybe the old lady will be in here, and she can heal me. Nope, she's not in there. I mean, that's not fair. I think if you didn't take the heal the first time, they should, like, leave her in there until you want to get healed, and then she leaves. Okay, I think I want to go left. I think I want to go... I think I want to go this way. Or the main hall, yeah. Let's go see what's in the main hall. Just because, like, I couldn't do anything here before. Looks like the coast is clear. We stepped into the main hall. Okay. This is all stuff we said before. Okay, so can't do anything there. Okay, so I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wander around and... Back toward the terrace. Okay, let's go out on the terrace and talk to Kid and Magil. Okay, so she said that... last time. Are you alright, Serge? You're looking rather pale. That wasn't the half of it. I hurt all over and I felt dizzy. I wasn't going to be in a fit state to fight if we happened to run into any more enemies. Okay, well then how do I heal? Okay, let's go left. Down the stairs? What was down here again? Right. This is the Riddle's room and Lynx's room and the atrium. I guess we might as well check the rooms again. Because I don't really know where I'm supposed to go. Okay, so nothing in there. All the same stuff we saw before. So this is where you've been hiding, Lynx, yelled Kid as she barged into the room. What, is Lynx here? I followed after her, panicking. I looked around to see no one else but us. Where is he? Kid was just standing there, clearly not in any danger at all. It was a joke, idiot. Oh, Kid. I mean, that's not very nice. All the strength drained from my body. Heh. Thought I was serious, did ya? Chuckled Kid, trying not to laugh too hard. I bet you wish you were living the easy life rather than traipsing around after me, eh? Heh, your face! I ignored her and walked over to the mirror draped with the red silk cloth. Hi there, sorry about all the noise. The statue of Venus in the mirror giggled back at me. Oh, so the spirit is back. That's quite alright, Serge. What is your desire? Came her husky alto. Have you kept up with Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard situation? Not since the verdict came out. Was there anything else that happened? Nothing much, just thought I'd check up on you since I was here. You mustn't say such things, your friends will become envious, she giggled mischievously. You what? Said Kid, her voice completely flat. And why would I be envious? Please, there is no need to get upset, I have a gift for you. Oh yeah? Yes. Well, one might call it that. You see, I thought you might be interested to see what it is like inside the mirror. Okay, this is interesting. Wait, so you're inviting us to the realm of mirrors? Kid's interest was suddenly piqued. It won't take up much of your time. Come, Kid, step inside. The surface of the mirror rippled like water. Kid reached out her hand toward the glass, then hesitated. She deliberated for a moment before finally pulling it back. You go first, Serge. You're her favorite. Are you sure? Kid nodded, and filled with excitement, I pressed my hands to the mirror. The surface was like cool water on my fingertips. No, Serge, you mustn't. What? Suddenly, cracks formed in the glass. I gasped. What's happening? The statue in the mirror was weeping. I wish you weren't so trusting. You forget that I serve Lynx. What? I blurted out. I meant to trap you and your friends. The cracks in the mirror grew bigger, splintering off into more and smaller cracks. And that is not all. I foresaw your coming long ago and warned Lynx of it. But why? You were imprisoned here by Lynx, weren't you? Sighed Magil. The statue of Venus nodded mournfully. He sealed the path to mirrors beyond, preventing me from leaving the manor. Huh, well this is kind of sad. After the verdict, nobody is going to want to cast Amber Heard in a movie or TV show because her reputation has collateral damage written all over it. Yeah, I agree. I feel like most people were supportive of Johnny Depp. Were someone to shatter all the mirrors within the manor's walls, I would be doomed. I would vanish, separated from my siblings forever. Eventually, the statue raised its head. But I cannot stand to be at his mercy anymore. The cracks deepened further, and shards of glass began to fall to the floor. Stop! I can't let you do this, I yelled, grabbing the mirror frame with both hands. This is what I want. Lynx will not suffer me to live after betraying him, said the image in the mirror, looking at me. But why are you trying to help us? Will that be your final question, Surge? Something in its voice felt like the trace of a smile. Very well, the truth is, But just then, the mirror finally split from top to bottom. What? The image's lips moved gently, but no words came. I tried to scream, but I could do little more than whimper. I took a shard of glass from the floor and gripped it tightly in my hand. Surge? Behind me, Kid was softly calling my name. I gave a slight nod and slowly turned around. Let's go. As we left the room, I turned to look back one last time, my eyes coming to rest on the remains of the mirror. I'd never be able to hear her voice again. I turned again and left the room. Okay, I was not expecting that to happen. Alright, wait, what? Were we done in Lynx's room? Can we go back in? The room was completely silent. I looked to the corner of the room, to the place where she had once stood. Magil put a gentle hand on my shoulder. Surge. I gave a silent nod, and we turned and left her to her eternal rest. Okay, well, that was sad. Okay, time to save. Let's save over this one. Okay, we don't need to go in there. Go towards the terrace. We have no time for baubles. The frozen flame comes before all else. Yeah, I know. Okay, so we can't go back inside the treasure room, so we'll continue going past the door. Oh, that's, that was the ceiling. Okay, so I can't go there. Okay, so we'll go back downstairs. Go down the stairs. Okay, well the only place we haven't been is the atrium. Why don't we go back to Beardy and try sticking something down his gob? Oh, I forgot about the Mouth of Truth. So we haven't done anything with him. Oh, the hand-shaped plate. Because, okay, so before I had tried all of these and none of them worked, but now I have that plate that Kid took from the goblin. I took the hand-shaped metal plate we'd found. After taking another look at the runes, I was no closer to working out what they might mean. Here goes nothing. I stuck the plate into the mouth of Truth's marble maw. As I did so, its eyes rolled upward, and the wall gave a light judder. A low rumbling sound came from the sculpture's mouth. This indeed is the ultimate truth of the universe. What? What was on the plate? Did you hear something? Yeah. I watched the mouth of Truth in confusion. Its great marble tongue lolled out almost like a snake. It coiled around the plate, seizing it and pulling it deep inside. What the? What's going on? In a panic, I looked to Magil for answers. Seems this ineffable truth of the universe has left even the mouth of Truth tongue-tied. Magil answered in his usual deadpan manner. I think he might have even been trying to make a joke. Hang on, so that plate thingy revealed the truth of the universe? And you went and crammed it down Beardy's gullet? Do you realize how much we could have sold that for? Kid kicked the floor in frustration and snapped her fingers. I don't like Kid in this game. I liked her a lot better in Chrono Cross. That's probably why they made her different. And then, drains on all sides of the room suddenly opened wide. Drains? Oh, because the atrium flooded. The red water formed eddies as it sank away. Helpless, the pteranodons were washed away with the current. Soon only trickles of water were left, slowly dripping away. Well, that's a stroke of luck, ain't it? Guess we won't be sleeping with the fishes tonight, grinned Kid, looking at the empty pool. Oh, so now you're okay with me putting the plate in there? We crossed the drained room, making for the exit on the other side, and pressed on. We went through the atrium and continued down the corridor before finding ourselves at a fork in the road. The corridor stretched off to the left and right. Okay, so we're in a new area now. We continued down the corridor, eventually reaching an old, rather sturdy-looking door. Bloody marvelous. Another bloody door with a bloody magic barrier on it. Wonder what's inside. Me sixth sense tells me it ain't treasure. Kid whispered back to us as she examined the door. I suspect that this is the Manor's dungeon, replied Magil, his eyes closed in concentration. I can hear the sound of someone moaning in the darkness on the other side. But there is nothing we can do, and thus it is of little concern to us now. Let us turn back. With no way of getting through the door, we retraced our steps down the corridor. Okay. Continue straight on. We continued down the dark, dank corridor until some stairs leading downward finally came into view. Went down the stairs. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into the shadows as we went. At the bottom, we found ourselves at another intersection. The dim, narrow passageway branched left and right. We'll go right. We followed the corridor for a while before coming across a small door. Get a whiff of that. Something smells good, whispered Kid, sniffing at the air. We turned back, we went inside. Go inside. We opened the door. Blimey, this is a small kitchen. That is a very small kitchen. Must be for the servants, commented Magil. I scanned our surroundings. A basin for washing dishes, cooking utensils, some food made ready for tomorrow, and a mousetrap. It looked like any other commoner's kitchen. Kid walked over to a large pot filled with food and peered inside. Looks like tomorrow's lunch. Want to try some, Serge? I was feeling hungry. I respectfully declined. Okay, I think this will heal me, so I'm going to take it. Timidly, I peered into the pot. It looked like stew, and it didn't smell bad at all. Almost inviting. I scooped some up with a ladle and brought it to my mouth. Gulp. It was delicious. It was revolting. Delicious. This stuff's delicious. You should grab a bowl, Kid, I urged between bites. Kid was looking at me again. Staring at me intently, in fact, like she was searching for something. Well, you ain't going green or nothing. Guess it's safe. Alright, let's have a try. She licked her lips with anticipation and swiped my spoon right out of my hand. Fancy a taste, Madge? No. Kid grabbed a bowl from nearby and began spooning out more. I did the same. We ate our fill. Ah, it did heal me! The stew was still warm, and it felt as though the magic of fresh home cooking was easing my wounds somewhat. Suddenly, a little voice rang out. You there, the young man with the braid. Kid froze. Oi, who you calling a bloke? Kid barked angrily in the direction the voice was coming from. A mouse was looking at us with eyes like saucers, from the inside of a mousetrap hanging from the wall in the corner of the room. Oh, I'm sorry, you're a young lady, I see. The mouse bowed its head in apology. The mouse is talking to us. Please, kind lady, you must hear me out. The mouse put its paws together and stared pleadingly at Kid. I left the nest to find food for my mother, but as you can see, I managed to get myself caught in a trap. If you leave me here, I will surely be eaten by goblins. Kid eyed the little creature suspiciously. Eaten by goblins? Wait, that's stew. Putting 2 and 2 together, Kid ran for the sink. I beg of you, please, free me from this trap. My mother is sick and she'll be terribly worried about what has become of me. The mouse was clearly begging for its life, but there was also an odd little glint in its eye. Meanwhile, Kid was at the sink. Blarf. Ugh, I'm never gonna get that taste out of my mouth. I'll be buggered if I'm hanging around here any longer. Kid had returned from the sink, only to stamp off toward the door. She was looking very green around the gills. Kindly young lady, I don't suppose you could free me first? You got yourself into this mess. You can sort it out yourself. Kid all but spat on the ground as she left the room. The mouse's eyes welled up as it looked to me. Young man, please, you're my only hope. I can free the mouse, or I can just leave it there. I'm gonna free it, because I feel like it'll help me later on. Gah, fine. Unable to bear it staring at me anymore with those pleading eyes, I lifted down the cage and opened the door. Oh, I should have saved first. Okay, we'll save now. So we'll leave that save alone. Okay, we're gonna save over that one. The mouse bounded happily out from inside. Kehehe, the mouse gave a wicked chuckle. You poor naive fool. Suddenly, its body began to balloon massively in size. Oi, Serge, what are you doing in... Kid stopped in horror the moment she opened the door. Bugger me, a griffin. Ugh, great. That was the wrong choice. The enormous creature stared balefully down at us. Idiot humans, my mother's not sick, but yours will be when she sees what I've done to you. Good going, Serge, you're a bloody liability you are. Oof, okay, maybe I made a mistake, but she didn't have to rub it in like that. The griffin gave an almighty cry and leapt it right at us. Its razor-sharp talons sliced through the air, raking down towards me. Caught off guard, I tried my best to dodge the attack, but the blow never came as the griffin suddenly lost its balance and came crashing to the ground. Oh bother, I'm too hungry to even fight properly. What on earth? I breathed a sigh of relief, running a hand down my chest. Alright, little mouse, now it's time for the real show to begin. Kid walked up to the griffin, cracking her knuckles. Gulp, please, kindly, young lady, this is all a misunderstanding. A terrible misunderstanding. Oh, really? Panicking, the creature leapt to its feet. You can't kill me, I have useful information. If you let me go, I'll promise I'll tell you everything I know, everything. Yeah, I know how much a promise from the likes of you is worth. Kid took another step toward the griffin, not skipping a beat. Ark, please! Kid kept on coming. The griffin kept on shrinking away. Enough! Magil called for Kid to stop. Let's hear it. Oh, thank you, kind sir. The griffin was beside itself with relief. Spoil my fun, why don't you? Grumbled Kid, pouting as she turned away. Listen well, O merciful savior. Right thrice, left twice, right twice. Should you find yourself trapped in one of Lynx's swirling snares, remember my words. What? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna write that down. Okay, right. 3 times. Left twice. Left 2. Right 2. Trapped in one of Lynx's swirling snares. With that, the griffin returned to its mouse-like form and disappeared into a small hole in the wall. Okay, I mean, alright, so I am glad I freed it then. Trapped in Lynx snares? I'm sure this information will come in handy later. As if I'd be thick enough to walk into one of his traps. What? We've walked into plenty of his traps so far. Let's get out of here. We've wasted enough time already. Kid turned on her heel and made for the door. We left the kitchen. Leaving the room behind us, we took a right turn down the corridor. We followed it for a while before coming to an intersection. Okay, I'm gonna save. We'll just save over this one. I'm guessing if I just leave the mouse there, then, like, nothing happens. Okay, so I think I need to keep going straight. We continued on down the corridor until it ended at a large door covered in scratches and other odd marks. Above the door was a wooden plate. It bore the legend "Guard Room" in elaborate calligraphy. Well, reckon this might be where to find the key to that door upstairs. No getting past that bloody magic barrier without it. Kid pressed an ear against the door and listened carefully. Doesn't sound like anyone's in there, she whispered. Go inside. The guard room is unlocked? Kid opened the door. The room had seemed completely silent from the outside, and so we had thought it would be empty, but there inside was a lone goblin. It was sitting in a chair with a book in its hand. A light steam drifted from the teacup on the table in front of it, and with it, a delicate aroma. The goblin peered at us curiously over its spectacles. There was something different about this one. I could tell as much at a glance. Heavens, how rare it is to have guests. Heavens, how well spoken for a goblin. I could only feel dread and suspicion at the sight of him nonetheless. Sorry, mate, but we're not your guests. Cough up the key to the dungeon if you want to live. Kid slammed her knife into the table to illustrate her point. But the goblin didn't so much as flinch. Ah, you must be Kid. What a pleasure this is. I have always so wanted to meet you. What? Why, you're even more ravishing than the rumors would. Before the goblin could finish, Kid's knife flew through the air. With a quick flick of his wrist, the goblin caught the blade with the back of his book, a mere inch from his face. I see that your approach is as radical as the name of your merry band would suggest, the goblin said, pulling the knife free and handing it back to Kid. She took it without a word. But her gaze had changed. She was like a cat, cautiously studying its prey. And I was just getting to the good part, too. Oh well. I suppose I shall have to give up on ever finishing it now. The goblin casually flung the book over his shoulder and into a nearby bin. Allow me to introduce myself, if I may. I am Grismeld, and I am the guard on watch. No need to stand. Please do take a seat. You're welcome to tea, of course. The goblin beckoned us to sit down. Did he mean to poison us? If I may? Magil calmly took a seat, ignoring the obvious suspicion in the air. I sat down next to Magil. I looked to Kid. Let's just sit down. Yeah, I mean, he seems nice. I decided to trust Magil's instincts and took a seat next to him. He had some kind of plan in mind, I was sure of it. Kid didn't look like she'd be pulling up a chair anytime soon. She was standing with her arms crossed, eyeing the goblin suspiciously. The goblin poured 3 cups of tea. Here you are. Without the slightest hint of hesitation, Magil took his teacup and lifted it to his lips. He sipped, then placed the cup back on its saucer. Ilmylan tea, not a blend I'd expect to find here. What a pleasure it is to encounter a fellow connoisseur. Yes, it's a rare blend, and one mainly enjoyed by noble classes. I couldn't believe the conversation I was hearing, but I also couldn't help wondering what this rare tea might taste like. My eyes rested on the cup that had been poured for me. I couldn't shake the fear it might be poisoned, but I also couldn't ignore how delicious it smelled. Before I knew it, the cup was in my hands. This is great, I blurted out. I never had such a delicious brew in my entire life. My aches and pains faded away. Okay, so I think this is another healing, which I don't need. Yep. I glanced over at Kid, who was blowing maniacally at the liquid in her cup. I'd forgotten that she was paranoid about burning her mouth on things. Now that we're comfortable, let's get down to brass tacks, as they say. I do indeed have the key to the dungeon, as you surmised, but you will also be aware I cannot simply give it away. I glanced over to Kid again. Typical, she wasn't listening to a word Grismeld was saying. She was still huffing and puffing at her tea. It seemed it would be up to me to respond. Here is our offer. Give us the key and you get to live. I suppose that means you want something in return. You'd like to know what I want? I want your heads. Grismeld's eyes glistened behind his spectacles. So he's just gonna he's not gonna attack. Or rather, I'm sure that's what my employer would have me say. But no, I have no such barbarous aspirations. Furthermore, I doubt I'd be a match for you. Grismeld chuckled as he said this. What I live for is the joy of conversation, which I fear my compatriots are ill-equipped to supply. Perhaps you might have one or two ripping yarns to share? Grinning, he added, I'm sure notorious thieves such as yourselves must have more than a few thrilling tales up your sleeves. So he wanted to hear a story. That seemed more than a fair price to pay for the key. I closed my eyes and thought, aha, I know just the story. How did it begin? One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. And then, she was searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure her sick mother's illness. She was out hunting for bugs. She was searching for a sunflower. Then, she walked and walked, but the sunflower was nowhere to be found. The poor girl went without food for 3 days and 3 nights. She walked and walked, but the sunflower was nowhere to be found. The fragments I remembered seemed about right. There was only one way the story could end. I took a breath and began my tale. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She was searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure her sick mother's illness. She walked and walked, but the sunflower was nowhere to be found. And then, in her moment of darkest despair, she saw a brilliant light. It was none other than the golden sunflower she sought. The young girl gratefully pocketed the sunflower seeds. These will surely save my mother, she thought. She rushed home to give them to her, and her dear mother was hale and hearty once more within days. And they all lived happily ever after. That was beautiful, murmured Kid, wiping a tear from her eye. Grismeld frowned. Not quite what I was expecting, and not the most riveting of tales, but I suppose it will do. The key, as promised. I took it from Grismeld's hand. Something didn't seem right, though. Was he really going to give it up so easily? And was it really alright to trust such a strange goblin? Grismeld seemed to notice my suspicion. He leaned back into his chair, looking at the ceiling. When I was a young tyro, a braver, stupider goblin, I once served General Viper, who was the lord of this manor until his betrayal by Lord Lynx. Despite my boorishness, Lady Riddle always saw something in me worthy of praise. Wait, Riddle? What's Lynx's adopted daughter got to do with anything? Oh, you didn't know? Riddle's real father was none other than General Viper himself. What? Lord Lynx spared Lady Riddle's life, so as not to snuff out that of the frozen flame. Oh my god. There's this one fly in here that is not leaving me alone. It's an uncanny stone, you see, has a life of its own, and some kind of spiritual bond with Lady Riddle. If there's only some way I could free my lady from this manor... Ugh. Okay, that fly just landed on my nose. Alas, I alone am powerless to do any such thing. Of course, I would have no qualms if, say, you were to topple the usurper. I assume you intend to? Slay the old beast, I mean? It was a strange inquiry to make so casually. Well, if it comes to it, I was too taken aback by the directness of Grismeld's question to reply. I never expected to find one of Lynx's own guards asking me something like that. Suddenly, I was shoved aside. You're damn right we're gonna kill him. It was Kid, of course. And in exchange, I'll have some more of that tea to take with us. Kid held out her hand before Grismeld could offer an answer. I suppose I have a bag I can share. Grismeld shuffled awkwardly in his seat as he retrieved it. As ever, I was impressed at how Kid's uncompromising attitude and willingness to speak her mind seemed to always get her what she wanted. Bonzer, sit tight and leave the rest to us, mate. Stowing the bag in her pocket, Kid took the job. You can trust me, I'm a girl of me word. That might have been the biggest lie she'd ever told. Right, let's get moving. She made for the door with a spring in her step. We left the room and Grismeld behind. Okay, that was a strange encounter. Okay, I'm gonna go back in the room and see if we can talk to him some more. Oh, hello again. Grismeld gave a slight bow of welcome. I look forward to hearing the tale of your exploits tonight. Instead of sitting around on your arse waiting to hear other people's stories, why don't you get out there and make a couple of your own? His only response was to chuckle with wry amusement. And with that, we left the room. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we still have a little bit to go in this game. I thought it was going to end after I found the frozen flame, but I guess not. So I'm going to end it here. First, obviously, I'm going to save. I guess I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying tomorrow night. But I think that I'm almost at the end. I mean, I thought that after I found the frozen flame or the fake frozen flame. But I'm gonna end it here because my voice is getting shot with reading all this stuff. So I should be able to stream tomorrow night. I was hoping to finish this game tonight so that tomorrow night I could record a new Small Streamer Diaries video, but this game hasn't ended yet, so I'm gonna try to finish it up tomorrow night and then try and record a new Small Streamer Diaries video this weekend. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will see you in the next video or stream. Have a good night, guys. Bye.